Live? Yes, sir. Oh, good. Shabbat shalom, family.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom to the worldwide family. Peaceful Sabbath today, y'all. We're going to go ahead and get it started. We got a good class today and got a few scripts to go over. Y'all know how we do it. We turn toward Holy Jerusalem as mentioned in 1 Kings 8th chapter, also Daniel chapter 6, verse 10. Y'all, 1 Corinthians 11, Numbers 30, men are to uncover their head when praying or prophesying within the assembly, and women are to cover their head when praying or prophesying within the assembly. Y'all know how we do it. We're going to lift our hands up high. The Most High lift us up today. And that's 1 Tim chapter 2, verse 8. Y'all, with that, we're going to get this peaceful Sabbath going.
All right, y'all, we're going to get this opening prayer. And it's with the Most High's permission. And in the name of his only begotten and beloved Son, our Lord and Savior, Yahushua HaMashiach. And we know him as Jesus the Christ, y'all. Long live the King.
Long live the King.
Reading in the book of Psalms, in the 16th chapter, it reads, Preserve me, O Yah, for in thee do I put my trust. O my soul, thou hast said unto the Most High, Thou art my master. My goodness extended not to thee, but to the saints that are in the earth, and to the excellent, in whom is all my delight. Their souls shall be multiplied that hasten after another God. Their drink offerings of blood will I not offer, nor take up their names into thy lips. The Most High is the portion of mine inheritance and of my cup. Thou maintainest my lot. The lines are fallen unto me in pleasant places. Yea, I have a goodly heritage. I will bless the Most High, who hath given me counsel. My reins also instruct me in the night seasons. I have set Yahweh always before me, because he is at my right hand, and I shall not be moved. Therefore, my heart is glad, and my glory rejoiceth. My flesh also shall rest in hope. For thou wilt not leave my soul in hell, neither wilt thou suffer thine Holy One to see corruption. Thou wilt show me the path of life. In thy presence is fullness of joy. At thy right hand there are pleasures forevermore.
Hallelujah! Say God!
Powerful script, bro.
Yes,
Know
sir.
what I'm
Yeah, ain't been back on that 16 in a while.
saying? No, that's right.
16.
Want to send shouts out y'all out there to Sister Wheezy down there in the Memphis area. Also, Art Leonard out there in the Chi-Town area, the pops of Base Jerusalem. Also want to send shouts out to Sister Maggie, the Linton family out there on the East Coast. All y'all out there on the East Coast, I hope, that storm passed over you or you're doing well as can be. Want to send shouts out to our Carlos down there in Texas. He's still recovering a little bit. Shouts out to Benny Yahoo and our Keith who moved from Dallas. He back in the Jackson area, and also his sister Thea. Want to send shouts out to y'all. And one love to all the family, y'all, as we get about our Father's business. Today's lesson, the shedding of innocent blood. And we may have touched on this a little bit, but what we're going to do is get more clearer because of the attacks at the Father concerning, our Father killed babies. You may hear those terms out there thrown around loosely, but those are individuals who don't understand this book, and they're not playing by the rules of this book, and we got to be careful we make sure everybody plays by the rules. If you're a servant of the Most High, you got to correct them and let them know, no, you just ain't going to go anywhere and point to anything and lay fault against the Most High, the sovereign God, and then try to get back in his script and explain something you like.
Before we
his son was killed and he innocent as them babies.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
yes, ma'am.
Before we get into the class, I still want to keep our prayers out there for the house of Uriah.
Yes, sir. Yeah, all praises. Yeah.
Yeah, she's still in that recovery process.
Well, that's great.
We're hoping a speedy recovery.
And it will be. Most High willing, y'all. And so, y'all, what we want to do is get into some understanding, because this is part of a commandment. When you lay any charge, there must be a sacrifice, a blood sacrifice. And if we shed innocent blood, that means you cost the life of someone that was innocent. There was no reason to put them down. Once you understand that the Bible talks about innocent blood, and then there's blood that has to be shed that's not innocent. So everywhere we look in the Bible interprets itself. It don't need our help to bail the Most High out.
That's right.
He's not going to break his own commandments. And we're not going to be ones that just say God can do whatever he want to do. No, he don't do it like that. Yes, he can do whatever he wants to do, but he's not that type of God. He's full of compassion and mercy to all his creation. Not just one group, all his creation. He has a special child, but all his creation is under his watch. So y'all, we got any questions or concerns before we get started? Anything on your heart, mind, or soul? Because we're going to roll today.
16.
We're going to get it rolling today. All good so far? So y'all know how we do it and what order we bring it from. We always got to keep you in line on the priesthood, because that's what these laws are based on. Same laws, just different priesthood. So y'all know who it is, our Lord and Savior, our King of Kings, Yahushua HaMashiach, high priest after the order of Melchizedek, an everlasting priesthood. He's the last high priest of that order. And y'all know how the law gets down under that order. Male, female, rich or poor, free or bond, or Jew or Gentile is all covered in the order of Melchizedek. So y'all understanding the shedding of innocent blood, and people are laying accusations at the Most High's feet like he's unfair, like his ways are unequal. No, he said our ways are unequal. So that's the reason he had to have commandments. Even though we had free will, he still knew that y'all can go off. You can go crazy. So there has to be boundaries that you don't cross within free will. So let's start this off by understanding how he won't break his own laws, because he's not going to do nothing to anyone. He can't be tempted with evil, neither tempted he any man. So there's nothing that he asks of us that he wouldn't do himself. Let's start this off in Isaiah 53.
Okay.
And we're going to see what he does with his own son.
All right, family, we're going to be reading in the book of Isaiah, chapter 53, and we'll start the reading in verse 1. Let's get some understanding, family.
Yes, sir.
Who has believed our report, and to whom is the arm of the Most High revealed? For he shall grow up before him as a tender plant, and as a root out of a dry ground.
Right.
He hath no form nor comeliness. And when we shall see him, there is no beauty that we should desire him.
See, so it has nothing to do with ugly or anything. It just won't be a repeat performance of the garden because Satan was blinged out. And a root out of dry ground, meaning where the doctrine was all over the place. That means it's dry ground. There's nothing living when you got dead doctrine going around. So he's a root springing up, y'all, from underneath the dirt, not surface doctrine. Right. A root out of dry ground. Y'all thinking about how children play on you put them up a hoop and then on grass. After a week, that grass roll down.
Yeah.
Never to grow again.
Never.
Just picture that Christ grew up out of that type of situation. Go ahead.
Verse 3. He is despised and rejected of men.
Right.
A man of sorrow.
Right.
And acquainted with grief.
What is he acquainted with?
He's acquainted with grief. And we hid as it were our faces from him. He was despised, and we esteemed him not. Surely he hath borne our griefs and carried our sorrows. Yet we did esteem him stricken, smitten of Yah, and afflicted.
And see, we know that's what he did, but we act like we don't appreciate that sacrifice.
Right.
Carried our burdens and our sorrows. Took all that on us, and we act like, I could have did that standing on my head. Could you?
Right. You're acquainted with grief.
Acquainted
that means
with
he was very familiar
with it. Let's get some more.
Verse 5. But he was wounded for our transgression.
For whose transgression?
Our transgression.
You see what we talking about? Innocent. Wounded for our transgression, not his. Right. Go ahead.
He was bruised for our iniquities. The chastisement of our peace was upon him. And with his stripes.
With whose stripes?
With his stripes, we are healed.
Yeah.
All we like sheep have gone astray. We have turned every one to his own way, and the Most High hath laid on him the iniquity of us all.
What has he laid on him?
The iniquity of us all.
And we have a problem talking about something who died or we got mad at the Most High. The Most High ain't laid nobody else's iniquity on y'all.
No.
Have you?
No.
Look, I saw that Mike Epps, he was saying, you think you got it bad. Like he's saying, it's just hypothetical, so to speak. He said that God told everybody, throw your problems in the middle of the ring. And then everybody grab somebody else's problem. When you realize, you be like, no, I want mine back.
Yeah,
he said, what if you grab somebody bad hip and you be walking around like this now?
Yeah.
You be like, give me back my sore elbow.
Right, I can work with that.
Yeah, I can work with that. I can't do nothing with this. But for our iniquities was he bruised. Nowhere is it written, or anybody that try to lay these accusations say what they ever done for the Most High. I was bruised for him.
Right. And see, that's the thing about it, man, is people have become just so lackadaisical in their own accountability.
Yeah.
That they sin and they know it's sin, but then they say, well, he died for our sins. That's nailed to the cross.
Right.
He gave us life from that point on so that we shouldn't sin.
Right.
But we took it from that and just thought we got a refresh on it and could just go crazy.
It's like Romans 6 is there, and that's what it say. Because grace has abounded, should we sin?
Right.
Yeah,
God forbid. Because there's a pathway for your ignorance and foolishness and law breaking. Do you just do it because it's there? No, you can't do that.
Right.
You're going to be accountable for that. Shalom, Raphael.
Shalom, Marquis.
Let's get this down to 10. What you saying, sister?
Because the Most High ain't dealing with you for your foolishness immediately.
Right.
He coming.
Right.
He coming.
And see, they would really be talking some noise, or their lips would be closed if he took care of you soon as you sinned. If he didn't have no mercy and took care of you soon, that your lips would be on lock. But that's the way it's going to be on Judgment Day, because he's going to take care of your sins at that time. Won't be no fat mouth.
Right.
Won't be no, you did to him and I ain't like the way you did. No, ain't gonna be none of that. It'll be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Let's read some more. Down to verse 10.
Verse 7. He was oppressed and he was afflicted, yet he opened not his mouth. He is brought as a lamb to the slaughter, and as a sheep before her shearers is dumb, so he openeth not his mouth. He was taken from prison and from judgment, and who shall declare his generation? For he was cut off out of the land of the living. For the transgression of my people was he stricken.
See, it ain't got nothing to do with himself or him having sinned that he was stricken.
Right.
It's because of us, and we still doing things that require his blood. Or we be stricken.
Exactly.
Go ahead, bro.
Verse 9. And he made his grave with the wicked and with the rich in his death, because he had done no violence, neither was any deceit in his mouth.
See, and he made his grave with the wicked because he was up there with the two thieves, and the rich in his death because the rich man gave him his tomb, and it was hewn out of rock. You know, you had to have a little paper. That's like, you know, somebody burying somebody in a mausoleum today. You gotta have a little paper for that. So, and that was the rich part. Go ahead, what else to say?
Verse 10. Yet it pleased the Most High to bruise him. He hath put him to grief. When thou shalt make his soul an offering for sin, he shall see his seed. He shall prolong his days, and the pleasure of the Most High shall prosper in his hand.
So we get this straight out the gate, what he did to his own son on our behalf.
Right.
Took bruises for you, and then he opened his mouth. Right.
Look, and we had a nerve to talk about, you know, I don't like the way this baby died, or I don't like the way my grandmama died, and she served you, and you ain't got a clue. This goes back to Adam and Eve. If you ain't going back to Abel dying and Seth dying, we don't want to hear that, because you ain't starting from the beginning. You talking about yesterday, a few years. 9 months ago, maybe.
You can't even go back to when Big Mama was little.
Oh, boy, look here. Nowhere near. You ain't got a clue about what happened when Big Mama used to be Little Mama.
Big Mama used to be Little Mama.
Shalom, shalom, Miles. Shalom, shalom, shalom. Y'all come on in. So y'all, we're gonna pick it right back up, and we're gonna get some more into the Most High understanding what is the shedding of innocent blood, and what he means is murder. Because that's what the shedding of innocent blood is. It's taking somebody's life without a cause, or with a deceitful mean. So y'all, we're gonna see how the Most High feels about that innocence, because he labels it to like a child when you do that. So y'all, we're going to Matthew 18th chapter, and we're gonna go verse 1 through 6. Y'all need some scripts, y'all good?
You don't want that 19?
Huh?
Or are you coming back to the 19?
Well, I kind of rearranged. I'm gonna come back to that right after that. Yeah, I know, but I had a 3 around it and a 2 circle. Yeah.
All right, family, we're going to be reading in the book of Matthew. We're in chapter 18, and we're going to start the reading in verse 1.
And y'all, this is what it's all about, the kingdom of heaven. If your mind ain't set forth on that, then you're wasting your time. Shalom, Michael. We're wasting our time, because if you're tired of what's going on, you're tired of COVID, you're tired of your back aching, you're tired of your foot hurt, you're tired of these bills, then you got to think kingdom bound. Because though none of that exists there, but you got to participate in commandment keeping. It's the only way it's going to happen.
Endure to the end.
You must endure to the end of commandment keeping. And it ain't grievous, y'all. There's not a commandment in this Bible that's hard to do or hard to keep.
No.
Let's read.
Reading in the book of Matthew, chapter 18, in verse 1. At the same time came the disciples unto Yeshua, saying, Who is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven? And Yeshua called a little child unto him, and set him in the midst of them, and said, Verily I say unto you, except ye be converted.
Except ye be what?
Converted. And become as little children, ye shall not enter into the kingdom of heaven.
So in the mindset you would be thinking, so he want us to become like babies again? No, only in the mindset of an innocent child.
Because your old ways make you subject to sin.
Hey, boy, look here.
There it is, right there.
You have to have an innocent mind that where before a child even knows what good and evil is, you know, his chemical makeup, he's automatically set to do right. You know, coming out of the womb, because he has to get training. And so he's saying you have to start off with your mental life, a fresh training.
A blank slate.
Right, a blank slate. You don't train a child to be evil coming out or growing up.
Right.
Now, when you see her hold this knife and stick it in her when her back turned, just do this. You don't train a child to do evil.
Right.
So, y'all, this is what he's saying. We have to have our minds thinking like how your child would be. You know, you want to protect it. It's a new database. And how you feel about a child. If some try to come and attack that child,
It's
what you would do to protect the innocency. You got to have that mindset that it's not malicious. There's no deceit or guile while you thinking about things. Go ahead, bro.
Verse 4. Whosoever therefore shall humble himself as this little child, the same is greatest in the kingdom of heaven. And whoso shall receive one such little child in my name receiveth me. But whoso shall offend one of these little ones which believe in me, it were better for him that a millstone were hanged about his neck, and that he were drowned in the depth of the sea.
So when we keep hearing them talk about little ones, he said, come to me. So they had to be old enough to walk.
Right.
You know, and they had basic understanding. So it's not talking technically about a newborn. He's talking about one old enough and one you could offend. You could hurt the feelings of a child. You know, kindergarten on up, you could say some things to him that offend a child. You say some hurtful things to that child. He said, if you offend a child like that, you scar their innocence. If you take their innocence from them, like a lot of, in the record business, musicians, their parents would take the innocence from a child because they want to live through their child. But you got a child in a nightclub singing grown people music. Every time he wants to go to the playground, you say no. You can't, you're not like the other children. You got him, right, you got him at 21 to 35 years already into mental singing grown folk songs.
He 8 years old and they're smoking a cigarette.
Oh boy, look here, like Finster. Right. All of those songs coming out of the mouth of an 8-year-old for fame, and then he's destroyed. He will never get that innocency back.
Never.
I don't care how many roller coasters he ride when he grown, it's not the same when you a child.
He can have a whole never life.
Oh boy, look here. It ain't coming back. Did you finish that? Did we go down to verse 6?
Yeah, we did verse 6.
Okay, now let's hit Matthew 19. And y'all, what we are setting up is how much the Most High love children. So when you hear somebody let some greasy talk come out of their mouth, talking about our God like the killing of babies, or he ordered the killings of babies, y'all. We this is a brand name. We defend this, but he say, y'all don't have to go the extra mile for the word. It does its own work. All you have to do is read the law on it, and the Most High ain't gonna break his own laws. That's how we started out with what he did to his only begotten son. About our transgressions, not about his.
Right.
He put his son to death about us. Acting a clown.
Could you do the same?
No, you ain't gonna do the same. Look, you throw your child under the bus. I put that on my baby. How you gonna put that on your baby?
No, you lying.
No, you lying. Well, look here, it says. Where we at? 19 and Genesis 19, 13 to 15.
No, Matthew.
Matthew, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, y'all. You like, where you going, boy? Go ahead. Matthew 19, I'm sorry, y'all. verse 13 through 15. Yeah.
Matthew chapter 19, verse 13. Then were they brought unto him little children, that he should put his hands on them and pray, and the disciples rebuked them. But Yahushua said, suffer little children, and forbid them not to come unto me, for of such is the kingdom of heaven.
And see, the Most High kept saying, little children that believe in me.
Right.
So when you really understand little children that don't believe in him or talk about another God, this is a whole different situation now. See, we have to teach our children and train our children who the creator of the universe is and who's his only begotten son, and then they believe in that. We can't train them to believe in the Easter Bunny or Santa Claus,
Right.
or anything. If you train them to believe in that, then they have false hope. So that's why he say, bring them to me, and so they understand that. So when they see that, they know that no, that ain't real. I ain't supposed to believe in that. That's made up. Where we at?
Verse 15. And he laid his hands on them and departed thence. You want to keep going?
No, we can hold that. So once again, we see the Messiah dealing with children of age. And notice he keep dealing with the ones who are in innocence, and what we're talking about is they have not reached puberty yet.
Right.
Because the age of accountability, what age you gonna put on it? Everybody is different. Women come into their flower at a different age, and men become men at a different age, so to speak. You can't pinpoint the Edomites who try to say it's 13 and 12. It usually is generally around those ages. But with all of the tainted food today and all of the estrogen, women are coming to a little girl are coming to her flower at 8 or 9 years old. That means she could be pregnant at 8 or 9 years old. So the law has to come in at that point because there's rituals. There's certain things, if she was to have a girl child, there's 80 days must pass before she can come back in the assembly. A boy child, 40 days. So there's rules now for when you graduate to this next level. But before then, all of their innocency or whatever they learn is on the parents. That's why no children can do the Day of Atonement if they're not of age yet. What are they atoning for? Your sins?
Right.
Baby, I need you to help mama.
Right.
Yeah. I want to put these sins in my baby name.
They put these sins in my baby name. Right. No, this already been done. You right, boy. Baby's credit ruined, ain't it?
Right.
So y'all, let's understand again the protection of the Most High, and then He's gonna tell us something that labeled on the line what Herod did looking for him. So when you understand who killed babies, it wasn't our power, it wasn't our God that killed baby or murdered baby. That's what innocent blood is, murder. Killing may happen. We read Ecclesiastic 3 at every funeral, don't we? There's a time to kill, there's a time to die. When is it a time to kill? When the 6th commandment say, thou shalt not kill. Right. When is it a time to kill? Or we have to get into the Bible itself so it explains what it means when it says, thou shalt not kill. Under no circumstances should the life or blood be shed of anything or any individual, unless a purpose is there and told you can do it. But the law explains that, so that there's no misunderstanding. And it's God's law, and He ain't gonna break His own law.
And see, now with that being said, now we talked about something a while ago. I told you there's been some bum coming up on my property stealing scrap iron, right?
Right.
Now, I know no man's life should be only worth scrap iron, but to have him come up on my spot and take some, just, it's mine.
Right.
It's not yours.
He looting.
But then he came back a second time, right? And then we talked about that, and I told you I prayed on it in the Most High. The Ruach gave me the scripture. I went to the scripture. And He said, vengeance is mine, said the Lord. Try to get along with all men if possible. But this nigga done been back again.
No, he
Came
ain't
back yesterday. And I barely missed him now, right? So now, it's just like I was telling my wife. I said, you know, if I catch him on my property, you dig, I'm gonna deal with him.
Right.
Like I deal with any thief.
Right.
But if he's suffering the truck, he don't film on my cameras.
Right.
But then when he came back and he got this other stuff the other day, I was like, boy, I sure want to kill this.
I know you want to.
But then I say it's not on me to take that upon me to do that, because then if I do anything, it's gonna cost me more money because I got to get a lawyer, I got to do this.
You got to do all this, and then you got to answer why 2 times ain't been reported to the police.
Right. And see, I had them over there, showed I'm finna put it on the thumb drive. They said, well, try not to engage him. If you see him, just call him.
Yeah.
But he ain't gonna wait. Hey, wait, the police coming now.
Right. Hold on, dog.
So I told him, I said, man, I try all of that. But then he said, well, just give us the footage, and maybe we can, because I can't make the plate out on my cameras.
Right.
But he said they got the technology. Of course they do.
Oh yeah, they got it.
So, but I'm just saying, man. I mean, how many times do you have to take, a loss to allow, like I say, a rat always come back to the cheese.
Right.
So I mean, it's cheese up there, but either I need to put up a fence or something. But I just ain't gonna let this dude keep coming up on my life.
Well, and then you got to let them know what they face, and that's what they understand. You got to post. If you caught, you're gonna be prosecuted. See, so that lets them know it ain't gonna be no me playing tiddlywinks with you. If we catch you, you're gonna be prosecuted. So basically now you let him know I'm gonna deal with the police on the matter first, and then no trespassing.
Right.
Says the owner.
Right.
So once all those things are posted and they go around it, because you have to look at certain laws, because they ask you, did you have signs posted? Is this right
Which
here?
I do.
Was things in place to prevent him from coming? So we know
he did all he could.
You did everything you could. Now, if he approach you on your property and attempt to get violent with you about your property, then that's why we're going to go over these scripts today, because it's going to cover all of that, so that, you know what, you don't leave in the back seat of that police car. What they should do is hand you a card and say, hey, if you find any more information, get in touch with us. But if you get in the back seat of that car, it's some problems. Something about him laying there with scrap iron, you just stuffed in his drawers and through his shirt, and you just got it everywhere on him. Scrap iron in his shoes, coming out of his shoes, and he laying there bleeding to death. They may say, well, something don't look right just about this.
Yeah. But see, that's why I went ahead. And I'm trying to take the proper steps.
Yes, sir.
But then now I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna block off both of my driveways and just have to lock them and unlock them as I come. But the property's so big, it'll cost me too much to put a privacy fence around.
Right.
So I'm just have to take this precaution and then give them what they need, that thumb drive information, and let them handle it. But it's already supposed to keep out and no trespassing.
Yeah.
But like you said, just that last little thing I'm gonna do, because they already know, and this dude know,
He slick.
Yeah.
He know when it's close by.
He's
close by.
Because I barely missed him this last trip.
See, he know you barely miss him because he know you close by.
Yeah.
Whoever got him is down the other way. If you come the other way, it's a change. But when it come, dog, he just passed that way. Get out of there. No. So you don't know who he working with or what's going on. Yeah. But y'all, it's to the point. We got to make sure also is this the law of thieving. If a man steal to satisfy his soul, so he can eat, do you despise it? The script say you can't despise him, but he must repay what he stole sevenfold. So don't nobody get away with breaking the law. If he's saying, well, it's scrap iron there, I can get it, and then you find out he feed a woman that got a newborn over there, you trail him back to the house, but when he get on his feet, that still don't mean you let him off the hook, because he can't raise his children off of stealing other people's property.
Exactly. That's
Yeah, he can sell the truck or do whatever he made to do, or whatever he need to do. But there's situations where if hunger comes up in this situation, you have to reevaluate.
But see, and that's the thing about it is since I put it in the hands of the Most High, man, and this cat came back, and this time he brought another dude because the piece they stole this time was too heavy for one man.
He had brought his partner.
I saw him peeking on the last trip, and he was like, no, this too heavy.
Yeah.
But this time he brought a dude back with him, and they got it.
No,
and I was like, look at that. But then, the thing about it is the Most High is so awesome, man. It's like my bread was like tenfold this week.
Right.
You dig? I was able to meet some bills that I didn't know I really needed to meet. I was able to meet them with the bread that I was able to make this week, and let him go on with that little scrap. But if I catch his ass, I'll give him a good talking to.
Yes, sir. Yeah. What you're trying to prevent is talking to him versus giving him a little physical therapy.
Exactly. I was gonna give him a little throat massage. And I said, I'm sorry. Most High handle that.
Most High handle that,
Yeah.
So give me just a little bit, real quick. Give me Proverbs 6:30, y'all, real quick. And it's just some quick understanding. Proverbs 6:30, so we understand the Most High when we talk about certain situations, because every situation, may have a reason why somebody's doing something, but just like the law don't care, or he was trying to feed his family, so he's selling dope.
Right.
The police don't care about him trying to feed his family. They're saying, it's honorable, but you're doing that, but you're killing another family.
Yeah, killing your community.
Proverbs chapter 6, verse 30. Men, do not despise a thief.
Do not what?
Despise a thief. If he steal to satisfy his soul when he is hungry. But if he be found, he shall restore sevenfold. He shall give all the substance of his house.
So now the Most High ain't allowing you to use that just verse 6. It's verse 30. Verse 31 comes in there too. So it say, but if you be found, look, he's found now because you got him on tape now.
Right.
So he's gonna have to restore.
When I catch him, I just tell him, run them pockets.
Run them pockets, or if you catch him that way, but ain't nothing in them pockets. So when you go to court, you may get the truck.
Yeah.
And then you can use the truck for something else for yourself. But y'all, those are the things you have to be wise surrounding Romans 13 when you obey the law of the land, so that it don't cost us, y'all. Because taking vengeance into our own hands sometimes could cost us. That's why they have what's called king of the castle rule and situations like that, and that extends to your car. If your life in this danger, the script call it wounding a man to my own hurt. If it's your life or it's his, and he's trying to take yours, it's understandable what happened. Moses did it when the man was caught. Running to him, had just raped this man's wife and was trying to kill him. Moses provided self-defense for that brother.
Right.
But Pharaoh heard about it and wanted to bring him to court. And Moses like, no, I ain't going to court today, because maybe a little rough. Moses got out of there. And he was gone for 40 years.
Yep.
But was it murder? No, it wasn't murder, because there was an act of murder being taking place at that time, because the man was trying, that Hamite was trying to kill the man, because he was running and telling, he just broke in my house and raped my wife in front of me.
In front of me. Boy, that's some powerful fear right there, boy.
Matthew chapter 2, verse 16 through 18. Woo. Y'all, and these laws help us, because this is a living book. Without the law, you'll be lawless.
Yep.
What Christ did was took it out of the priest's hands for us to have to go to priests and keep sacrificing turtle doves and bullocks, Lord Jeremiah, which we would have probably destroyed all of them on planet Earth by now, the way we sin. But Christ ain't gonna allow you to know him and know his sacrifice and then just continue to sin like that sacrifice wasn't nothing.
Right.
Beat more than any man on planet Earth, had his beard ripped off, they was kicking him in his rear end, steel shots to the jaw, tore his beard off his face, whooping him with whips with small razor blades on on his back, made him carry his own cross, and then watched him suffocate.
And he did.
And he's innocent.
Right, did all that for us.
For us. And we act like we can just continue to sin like we ain't got no sense. But y'all, if you don't know what sin is, that may be the problem. Sin is the transgression of the law. Breaking God's law is sin. If there's no sin, if there's no law, there's no sin, according to Romans 4:15. Where there's no law, there's no sin.
Right.
You can't have it both ways. Let's catch up, y'all, real quick. Matthew chapter 2, verse 16 through 18. And this is what King Herod did when he killed innocents. And we'll get some understanding on what a baby killer is. And y'all get this understood too. When he told Abraham to sacrifice Isaac, Isaac was 37 years old. He wasn't no child. The Messiah was 33 years old. He wasn't no child, so to speak. Isaac wasn't no baby.
No.
Isaac was 37 years old. What you got, bro?
Matthew 6 or 16.
Huh?
Matthew 6 or 16.
No, we're going to Matthew chapter 2, verse 16.
Oh.
Yeah, of course, you know, Isaac carried the wood.
Isaac carried, boy, look here.
You know?
And see, most people try to, when they label, he told him to kill his only son. What are you talking about? Isaac was a grown man. They didn't read that part because they're just looking to blame the father for his rules that they don't want to keep. If you don't want to keep them, you don't keep them.
Right.
But that ain't gonna stop Judgment Day.
No.
Let's get caught up, y'all.
Yeah. We're in the book of Matthew, chapter 2 and verse 16.
What it say?
Then Herod, when he saw that he was mocked of the wise men, was exceeding wroth, and sent forth and slew all the children that were in Bethlehem and in all the coasts thereof, from 2 years old and under.
From 2 years old and under. He like, I know I can get him because the wise men say, yeah, he was born over here yesterday, and the wise man left on him. No, man, we getting out of here.
Right.
Didn't tell the king, so he like, well, I know how I get him. 2 years old and under, kill every child of Israel from 2 years old and under. Go ahead, what else is that?
According to the time which he had diligently inquired of the wise men. Then was fulfilled that which was spoken by Jeremy the prophet, saying, in Ramah was there a voice heard, lamentation and weeping and great mourning, Rachel weeping for her children, and would not be comforted because they are not.
So when you see this also in Jeremiah 31st chapter, you see Rachel weeping for her children. Rachel was weeping for her children because Rachel died before the children of Israel went into Egypt. She knew what the outcome was going to be, and there was a mass slaughtering there too by Pharaoh. That's how Moses escaped it. He was put in a basket and sailed down the Nile River until Pharaoh's daughter found him. That was a mass killing too by our captor. No, them the baby killers. But we ain't on record here where the Most High kills babies.
Right.
What else we got? We finished that?
Yeah, we finished.
We hold that. Let's get right to the sixth commandment, y'all. And this is what we talk about. We got to get some understanding when Solomon was talking about there's a time to kill. When is it a time to kill? If you have a war, somebody gonna die, ain't it?
That's right.
There was a war in heaven. When Satan was threw out, they have an eternal death sentence, and the lake of fire was created for them. They was grown though, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Let's read some more. Where we at?
We're going to the book of
Exodus 20, yeah.
Chapter 20.
We just gonna hit a quick verse on it, y'all. Y'all can see them 10 commandments posted back on the wall, y'all. And these are the 10 commandments. They're like the 10 Bill of Rights. But there's statutes and judgment under each one of those 10 that explain each situation covering male, female, rich or poor, free or bond, Jew or Gentile. The law has to be covered for every one of those individuals and every situation for every individual, because ain't nothing happening on planet Earth today that ain't happened before and judgment has not taken place for. Nothing new under the sun. So as we get with this 6th commandment, let's read what it say. We're going to roll because we got a few scripts to read.
The book of Exodus, chapter 20 and verse 13.
What it say?
Thou shalt not kill.
Thou shalt not do what?
Kill.
Now, a lot of people say, well, that should mean thou should not murder. Well, if you don't murder, what about self-defense?
Right.
Look, you don't want to have to kill nobody, but it's like you're not expecting a fire at your house, but you got a fire extinguisher, don't you?
Right.
You want to put it out if a fire happens. You're not looking for a fire, are you? When you go buy a fire extinguisher, it's just in case a fire happens. You're not looking to kill nobody, because laws in here that say you can't lure nobody in your house to kill, not even a thief. You can't set a trap for that thief.
Right.
And some of y'all may not be old enough, but when they had them 76 Lincoln Continentals, used to have over the back wheel what was called skirts. You could pop them off. It was like a little extra portion around the back wheel well. Well, that was a hot item to steal. Brother had bought him a new Lincoln. Stole the first set of skirts off 3 o'clock in the morning. Oh, he was upset.
Oh, yeah, of course.
So the second set, he glued fish hooks on, because you had to reach up under it and pop the lock off and pull it down like that, then the skirt would come off. So he crazy glued fish hooks up under that. And when he come out for work at 5 o'clock in the morning, the thief was still there. Because when fish hooks grab you, you can't just pull them out.
Right.
They hook, that's why they call fish hook. So he caught him like this, still up under there. Went back in the house, got his Louisville sock slugger, spit over the coat and let him have it, and then called the police. They locked him up for sabotage. You cannot sabotage that. They like, you got insurance and you got the police. You call us, but what you just did, the fish hooks was bad enough.
Right.
But then you put them may knots on them. Hitting them across the head, some of them knots may go down, they may not. You can't do that, that's recorded in the Bible. You cannot set anybody up. Because you may shed innocent blood. You may kill them and go do some time. What you got, bro?
I bet you stopping for new skirt.
Yeah. No, he wasn't stealing no more skirts no more. He may have been finding new cars with some pants on, but he wasn't stealing skirts no more. Where we at?
I never understood why they was getting stolen so much.
Oh, boy, just a hot item, just like, the rims and everything else.
But if your car didn't have none, you couldn't put them on there.
Oh, well, it was more out there. People had the cars. Theirs had got stolen. It was a hot item. It's like these Cadillac converters now that they stealing. They'll slide up under your car and steal them, and they making money off of it.
A little store on the side of a building.
Yeah, them little stars.
What's the hot item?
It's a little star that they put in the brickwork on the side of the
Right. What is that, brass or copper?
It's brass or copper, one of them.
Yeah,
Because it turns green.
They
Hold the brick in there, and you stealing at the house will collapse on the side.
It'll start, the brick will start bowing and then it'll collapse.
It'll collapse.
Yeah.
That's what the script talk about, a bowing wall.
Yep.
You don't know when it's gonna collapse. You could be in there watching TV, the next thing you watching traffic. No, Mama D, let's get it, y'all. Where we at?
You wanted just that one?
Yeah, just that one verse, thou shalt not kill. Then we're gonna go ahead and let the law explain what it means, because there are many forms of killing. Your animal could kill somebody, and that's on you. Your pit bull get loose and kill a child, that's your responsibility.
Yep.
You can get drunk and get behind the wheel of a car, vehicular homicide, that's killing. Somebody could break in your house and you have to kill them, that's killing. And then there's the shedding of innocent blood, waiting to bust the fat off somebody's head and dig in their pocket and take their money. and kill them for it. That shed innocent blood. Those are all forms of killing. So contrary to what Farrakhan teaches, that should say, thou shalt not murder, then that leaves out all the other forms of killing. Don't it? Then that would be the only one up there. But no, there's the Most High say when he destroyed the earth, he said it repented the Lord that he had to destroy all of mankind off of earth. But the world had got so wicked, y'all wouldn't believe how he said Sodom and Gomorrah and the days of Noah ain't gonna compare to what's about to take place on earth right before the second coming. We ain't seen wickedness yet. With this technology, do y'all know China right now cannot keep sex robots on the shelf? Since they legalized them to come out? The manufacturer are working overtime because of the ones they getting back with warranty issues. The hip sockets broke on them.
Women on straight.
Oh, no, bro. Where we at?
They got a big, a couple of, 2 different locations over there in that area. They have these giant holograms. One of them is like a giant cat that sits on the side of this building. And it looks so real that it's scaring people over there.
Oh, look here, they want you to see that the sky show is coming. Y'all, and watch Kanye West, y'all. Kanye is finna try to resurrect his mother. There's some kind of witchcraft or ritual going on. The album named after his mama. He got Marilyn Manson there. He's got some more warlocks there. He done incorporated the Star David. I mean, I shouldn't say Star David. The hexagram. What was put on David, I should say, but the hexagram, he got that involved, and he's got it in the middle of Chicago Stadium, and he's done built his childhood home. They're about to do something with and then Kim Kardashian, remember he introduced a video to her of her father talking to her dead father, put that together on a hologram. He introduced that to her on her birthday. Her father come back from the dead, so to speak. Want you to have a great birthday in his voice. And
right.
Now he's going for the gusto. I don't know if them handlers of his done told him, we'll let you see your mother one more time, but you're gonna have to do this. He ain't been straight since his mama died, and they love to get the handle on that, y'all, and have him teach this, but something's finna go on, y'all, with that concert. And not only that, but ain't him and Drake got enough money, they finna do another United States versus Canada battle? Drake and him, y'all got millions, and y'all finna get into another war on lyrics?
You going to the concert?
Boy, look here. If it was free, and I got a free hotel, I wouldn't go because there's a price to pay for. Witchcraft and seduction gonna take place. That Key and Peele made that movie Get Out based on Kanye West. Said he'd been seduced. Yo, let's get caught up. Where we at? Deuteronomy 5:17. We want to read again what the law say. And then give me Genesis 9:5. Y'all, we're going to speed this up a bit because I got a few scripts I want to cover because we got a case study of illegal killing and shedding of innocence by the first Israelite king, Saul. Deuteronomy 5:17, then we're going to hit Genesis 9:5 real quick. Just some one-liners, y'all, so we showing the law always got to show 2 witnesses.
The book of Deuteronomy chapter 5 and verse 17.
Because no man could be put to death except you had 2 witnesses. That was under the order of Aaron, so some people would get away with murder if you didn't have 2 witnesses. No, that's it. And that's why some people today think they can kill witnesses. But the Most High say, no, we out of that order. We under the order of Melchizedek, to where your conscience is a witness. I'm going to visit you in your sleep in that jail cell. And I'm going to show you some visions that's going to wake you up out of your sleep. And you're going to be trembling and hollering and going to be scared to go back to sleep. Do you know when you can't go to sleep, there's no torment like that on earth? When you're scared to go to sleep because you're defenseless when the visions come. And they torment you and you can't wake up. Boy, ain't that terrible?
Ask Michael Jackson.
Boy, look here, when you finally do wake up, you don't want to go back to sleep. Well, you can't function with no sleep.
Yep.
Death is around the corner. You get behind the wheel and ain't slept in 2 or 3 days. You're going to nod out. You see what happened to babies when you put them in the car? Some people, baby can't stop crying, they put them in the car and drive around the block 3 times.
Yes.
When they come back, they out. Boy, and you get behind the wheel and they been sleeping 3 days. Where we at?
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 5 and verse 17.
What it say?
Thou shalt not kill.
Thou shalt not what?
Kill.
So we see it again, but there's many facets of killing. Just like the Messiah say, love the Lord with all your heart and soul and love your brother as yourself. These 2 are the greatest commandments, but it's still the 10. To love the Lord your God, your first is the first 5. Mm-hmm. And the second 5 is your neighbor. You still doing the 10. Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor. Ain't that loving your neighbor as yourself?
Yep.
Thou shalt not cover thy neighbor's goods. Thou shalt not steal from thy neighbor. So you got the greatest commandment. You still gonna do the 10. And you're gonna do all the statutes and judgments up underneath because there may be questions about the law. Let's get it. Where we at? Genesis 9 and 5?
Yep.
Yeah.
We're reading in the book of Genesis, chapter 9, and reading in verse 5.
Because it was shedding the blood when we got off the ark that he gave the same law, and this was the Melchizedek order because that's what Noah was under at the time. We didn't come under the order of Aaron until after 430 years in Egypt and met at Mount Sinai. Then we got the same laws, but different priests. Aaron and his sons were the high priests. Under Melchizedek, Christ is the high priest forever. Ain't gonna be no switching out. Where we at? Let's get it real quick.
Genesis chapter 9 and verse 5.
You want to start at where it says? At 1. We started 1.
Back there. We in Genesis. No, we back it up to 1.
He said you done made it back.
Yeah.
Genesis chapter 9, verse 1. And Yahweh blessed Noah and his sons.
And his what?
And his sons.
So Ham, Shem, and Japheth was blessed. Go ahead.
And said unto them, be fruitful and multiply, and replenish the earth. And the fear of you and the dread of you shall be upon every beast of the earth. And upon every fowl of the air. Upon all that moveth upon the earth. And upon all the fishes of the sea, unto your hand are they delivered.
So he gave them charge over planet Earth and everything moving on Earth. Go ahead.
Every moving thing that liveth shall be meat for you, even as the green herb have I given you all things. But flesh with the life thereof, which is the blood thereof, shall ye not eat.
So we cannot eat any flesh with blood in it. You cannot have steak tartare. That's where they just throw a steak on a skillet and turn it over and put it on your plate. That's make medium rare look like well done.
Yeah.
No blood in it because blood is the life thereof. Of anything living, blood is its life. Without blood, it can't live. Go ahead. What else is that?
And surely your blood of your lives will I require. At the hand of every beast will I require you. So
the Most High said, if you kill a beast illegally, I'm going to require it at your hands. Y'all, we just can't go around and kill beasts. Beasts are on the earth for certain reasons. You can't take all the catfish out of the ocean when they clean the ocean so you can eat tilapia and jack salmon. If you take all them away, then your good fish gonna be dirty. It's gonna be slimy. It may have plastic parts on it. Catfish will eat anything. Catfish will eat all the doo-doo in St. Louis, one by itself. To make sure the ocean is clean. It's the filtering system of the ocean. Go ahead, what else to say, bro?
And at the hand of man, at at the hand of every man's brother will I require the life of a man. Whoso sheddeth man's blood, by man shall his blood be shed. For in the image of Yahweh made he man.
So, and this is the reason why he say vengeance will be the Lord's. He said, because I made man. You let me take care of that business. But I'll give you rules if you find yourself in a position that where a man is trying to take your image of God away from you. But it has to be according to the law so you can go home. You just can't kill it and say you righteous. And we're going to get into a couple situations like that, but we're going to keep rolling, y'all. Let's get any questions so far out there, y'all, at all? Let's go to Deuteronomy 19 so we can get some understanding. We're going to back this up. I'm going to come back to Ezekiel 18. I'll tell you what, let's go to Ezekiel 18. Go ahead, we're going to go there first. We're going to go to Ezekiel 18, then I'm going to come back to 19. This will set 19 will set up a little bit better. Ezekiel is statutes and judgments because it's the prophets. When you're reading out of Proverbs, Psalms, when you read the books of the prophet, those are what's called statutes and judgments. They show how a matter was hammered out. Y'all understand what I'm saying? Like this big deal about abortion. They keep talking about Roe versus Wade. Does anybody know what that means? Have anybody took the time to see what Roe versus Wade mean concerning this issue? But everything is based off of this Texas issue that's going on with the abortion that the Supreme Court voted 5-4 to anybody that has an abortion 6 weeks on. The problem is most women don't know they're pregnant for 6 weeks. And I'm talking about that's pregnant that don't have a husband, so to speak. Because you know when it's there because it ain't no problem for you at that time. We finna have a baby. What? That's all can be said. Because married ain't gonna say how I know it's mine. He bet not. It's gonna be a problem, ain't it?
Yep.
But on the other side, if you don't know whose it is and you're like, this may be trouble. I told you I'm trying to finish college and go to school and become a doctor. How you pregnant?
Because we was in the bed.
Boy, that's, look here, it's easy.
But didn't you say you was going to school to be a
Doctor, yeah. Where we at, bro? Ezekiel 18 chapter, y'all. Let's roll. Who got it?
18.
Yeah. and 1, let's get it.
Ezekiel chapter 18, verse 1.
What it say?
The word of the Most High came unto me again, saying, What mean ye that ye use this proverb concerning the land of Israel, saying, The fathers have eaten sour grapes, and our children's teeth are set on edge. As I live, saith the Most High Yahweh,
right?
Ye shall not have occasion anymore to use this proverbs in Israel.
So the Most High say, I'm gonna fix that problem because when it says our father have eaten sour grapes and the children's teeth are on edge, our forefathers broke all those commandments in Jerusalem and got cast out for 400 years. But guess who teeth are on edge? Guess who have to feel the bill because it was for 400 years. The lifespan was 70 years, so that's 4 generations or better that's gonna go through this. That means your offspring gonna pay the price for what our forefathers did. They ate the sour grapes, meaning when they bit into the grape, but we feel the sourness. We doing like this, but they just bit into it, but we feel the pain. Is that right for the Most High to do that? He said, you put yourself in situations for your children to suffer. You can't do that. You can't put yourself in a situation that's going to make your children suffer for the next 20 years. If you go kill your teacher's kindergarten teacher because she made you stand at the wall and face the wall, and you go up there and you're going to teach the teacher a lesson, you kill the teacher, what's going to happen to that child? Go to the state home if you the only parent. Stay at home, you know what may happen to the child. And now, is that the Most High's fault that that child should go through those things? If a child's born blind because both parents are dope addicts and they had syphilis, and syphilis will make a child be born blind, is that God's fault? See, that's what we have to separate when we understand what the Most High say. That child's soul belongs to God, but guess what? That soul is in a perfect state. It cannot have a limp. It don't have a blind eye. The soul is perfect because it's the image of God. The flesh is what deteriorates and falls off. But there's an all-seeing eye in your soul that you can see if you blind with these two eyes. You see visions in your dreams that you can't see with these two eyes. You can see stuff before it happened, before you see it with these two eyes. You say, I've been here before. I'm going to tell you what's going to be around the corner. It's going to be a man with a hot dog cart, but it's going to be wet teddy bears. No, I'm just messing with you. Yeah, but I'm just saying that's what visions do. You see more with this pineal gland, and you can see into the supernatural with it. That soul is made perfect. Everybody, if you see a child in a wheelchair, he'll be standing up on Judgment Day and then fall on his kneecaps. Except for any child that's under the age of accountability, they already in the kingdom, because it says such is the kingdom. That's where they go directly. Where we at? Where we at? We want to keep going?
Verse 4.
Yeah.
Behold, all souls are mine.
What'd he say?
All souls are mine. As the soul of the Father, so also the soul of the Son is mine. The soul that sinneth, it shall die.
See, and the soul that sinneth, it shall die. See, there's a difference in your flesh sinning versus your soul sinning. When your soul sins, it has trained your flesh. That's when you say somebody ain't got a consciousness. Man, who could go up on the porch and kill 3 babies, see them babies up there and just shoot everybody out there shooting wildly like that? They ain't got no conscience. That means their soul is a killer. So the flesh or do whatever. That's why when they snap out of their soul, when the police get there and they be looking at the blood on their hand, they like, where it come from? The police say, you know where it come from. No, I don't. They say, well, you'll find out shortly.
Come with me.
Where it come from? Yeah. Where we at?
Verse 5. But if a man be just and do that which is lawful and right, he has not eaten upon the mountains, neither has he lifted up his eyes to the idols of the house of Israel, neither has defiled his neighbor's wife, neither has come near to a mistress woman.
Can't come near to her. Go ahead.
And has not oppressed any, but hath restored to the debtor his pledge, hath spoiled none by violence, hath given his bread to the hungry, and hath covered the naked with a garment. He that hath not given forth upon you, neither hath taken any increase, that hath withdrawn his hand from iniquity, hath executed true judgment between man and man. He walketh in my statutes, and
hath walked
in my statutes, and hath kept my judgments to deal truly. He is just.
What is he?
He is just. He shall surely live, says the Most High Yahweh.
So when you read those verses, he tell you this is what's gonna make you live. You judge fairly. You're no respecter of persons. You deal with the law fairly. You've done these things, you've done these things, you've given your bread to the poor, you've done these things. You are a just man. Let's read some up.
Verse 10. If he begot a son that is a robber.
What is his son?
A robber. And a shedder of blood. And that doeth the like of any one of these things.
So he's saying this righteous man could have a child and go off.
Right.
His child could become a jack artist. And we got plenty of that going around in St. Louis, 14, 15, 13 years old, carjacking. What is a 13-year-old doing out at 5 o'clock in the morning talking about carjacking anybody? Where the parents at? Let's read some more.
and that doeth not any of those duties, but even hath eaten upon the mountains, and defiled his neighbor's wife, hath oppressed the poor and needy, hath spoiled by violence, hath not restored the pledge, and hath lifted up his eyes to the idol, hath committed abomination, hath given forth upon usury, hath taken increase.
And giving a forth usury is taxing your brother.
Right.
Interest rates, high interest rate. And our bad thing, when that crack epidemic hit people that's borrowing money, man, give me 20, I'll give you 40 back. And you say okay to that. Well, if he's borrowing 20, where do you think he's going to get 40 from? And if he's going to come back to you? So then you have to threaten it. You don't have my 40 back tomorrow, I'm going to come looking for you. Well, don't give it to him if you have to apply a threat to him. You know what I'm saying? Because if he fight you back, what you going to do? End up hurting him bad, ain't you? And it's going to cost you a lot more than $40. But that's what increase is. It's like payday loans. I'm going to loan you 100, but you got to give me 150 back. We can't do that to our brother. We can't payday loan them out. Where we at?
Verse 13. Hath given forth upon usury, and hath taken increase. Shall he then live? He shall not live. He hath done all these abominations.
See, these abominations, when you see abomination in the Bible, it means felony. Major felony. Capital punishment. Go ahead.
He shall surely die.
What shall he do?
He shall surely die. His blood shall be upon him.
Now that's a son that you could be a righteous man and just have a wicked son. Because it's all about law and free will. Your son could be spoiled. Yep. You done getting him everything and he just don't understand. You tell him, well, get a job and get the way I got. Uncle Tom, you work that corporate job, sucker. I'm gonna get some real money. I'm gonna get some of this street money. And you be like you wasn't raised like that. Just like the boy that just killed the heathen down there in Dallas, Texas, was gonna kill his child, but he stepped in front of him. Was shooting at some other people, just took some mushrooms, just got out of the army, don't have a criminal record, never been locked up, ain't had nothing but a speed ticket in his life. Yet he's going away, he's finna get the death penalty. That one act of being lured to smoke some mushrooms. So he's become a blunt monkey, so to speak. You travel all the way there for some mushrooms.
I think you eat those.
Well, something happened.
Yeah.
Well, he ingested it. So ain't no telling what they doing today.
They might got some new stuff going.
Look here.
It's probably synthetic.
Where we at?
Verse 14. Now lo, if he begot a son that seeth all his father's sins.
That seeth all his what?
Father's sins, which he hath done, and considered, and doeth not such like.
So if he saw his father was a jack, I ought to say the grandson not. My granddaddy wasn't like that, then my daddy become like this, and then he see his dad and he don't consider that. I'm not gonna be like my dad. What else to say?
That have not eaten upon the mountains, neither have lifted up his eyes to the idols of the house of Israel, have not defiled his neighbor's wife, neither has oppressed any, have not withheld the pledge, neither has spoiled by violence, but hath given his bread to the hungry, and hath covered the naked with a garment, that have taken off his hand from the poor, that have not received usury nor increase, have executed my judgment, have walked in my statutes. He shall not die.
He shall not what?
He shall not die for the iniquities of his father. He shall surely live.
So we can't be punished for what our parents do. See, because we were sent here in slavery for what our parents did, we can't be judged on Judgment Day for what they did. Only if we do the same thing our parents did. But our flesh, because they've eaten sour grapes and our teeth on edge, our flesh may have to die. Some of us were whipped to death in slavery. Some of us got thrown overboard and we didn't commit none of the sins, but our flesh, because it's marked for death, will be destroyed by our Father's behavior, but not our soul. That's why he said all souls are mine. Shalom, mister. How y'all doing? If a soul is righteous, it shall not die. It ain't talking about flesh. It's talking about the soul, the perfect image of the Most High.
Right.
That's what he's talking about. We cannot be charged unless we start doing idol worship here that got us cast out. If we start practicing, then we're going to be judged just like our forefathers. Now we're going to, teeth going to be on edge, but we're going to taste the wrath too.
That's right.
So y'all, this is clear. Y'all get into all of the Ezekiel 18. It's going to break all that down about if a righteous man at the last minute turn from his righteousness and turn to wickedness, none of his righteousness is going to be remembered. It's a done deal. Just like O.J. Simpson, we don't remember none of his Heisman Trophy, none of that. All you remember is he killed 2 white folks, cut their head off. Some people agree with it, some don't. And driving a Bronco. At least in the back seat. That's all you gonna remember about him. And if a wicked man turn from all his wickedness into his righteousness, the Most High say his wickedness won't be remembered no more if he turns righteous. But he's talking about his soul, like the thief on the cross. He still had to die, but his soul turned to righteousness. And the Most High said, you're going to be in paradise with me this day. But he still had to die. His flesh still had to die. He understood that the thief was saying, have mercy on my soul. Where the other thief said, he can't even get himself down. How he going to help us? So he's still in the flesh.
Right.
That means he wasn't going to even repent for being up there for stealing. Y'all read the rest of that Ezekiel 18. Y'all, we got to move on a little bit. Deuteronomy 19 chapter. Shalom, Aliyah. Shalom, Imam.
Shalom, Imam.
Y'all, so we want to get it. We got any questions or comments so far? Okay. What you got, Imam?
I was listening to the class. And I want to know when you said, when you don't touch your neighbor's anything that belongs to the neighbor.
Right.
Don't covet it.
Right.
Does that mean don't covet is fornication still as covered?
Well, when we talk about covet your neighbor's gift, yeah, if you saying, I wish that was my wife, that's coveting. I wish that was my car. Ain't nothing wrong with you in a sense that I really like that, man. What was that rug? And then you get a job to get you one just like it. But you can't say, I wish I had his car. I wish I had his wife. I wish I had, well, there's a lot that come along with his car. Insurance and a car note maybe.
Right.
A lot of things may come along with his wife.
Yeah.
Like she may like to cuss him out in the middle of the night. She may have him on a hot dog diet, can't cook, just look good. Oh, I mean, it's a lot that come with when you covet your neighbors because, like I say, the grass may seem greener over there, but it may not be. So that's why he don't want you to covet nobody else's situation because, like you say, if the Most High told everybody to throw in your problems and then pick out somebody else's problem, you may not like their problem. Their problem may be, you be like, well, who got my problems? Who got that gout toe? I need that back. Because you pick up somebody's stupidity and you walk around like Curly Stooges, you alone for a gout foot.
Break it down.
I'm talking about you don't know if you putting on some little boy shorts or grown man shorts, you know you can't fit them, they won't zip up. How you going out in public with them? Give me back my problems.
See, break it down.
So, where we at, boy?
We're going to be in the book of Deuteronomy.
Hey, it's made up like Romy Rome's in the front. You know better than that. Go ahead, where we at?
Chapter 19. We'll start the reading in verse 1.
And y'all, and because men would take the law into their own hands, we had to have what we would call cities of refuge. Because if somebody, say you went hunting with your partner, now all the people you go hunting with, he get killed accidentally, somebody may want to think you set him up, and they say, no, we're going to take the law into our own hands. We had to have cities that would allow these people to escape to until their court date, so that mob violence wouldn't take place. Vigilanteism. So we had to have things set up because that individual may have had to defend his life against your loved one. Your loved one may have snapped.
Right.
Let's read some more.
Reading in the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 19, start the reading in verse 1.
Yes, sir.
Let's get some understanding, family.
Yes, sir.
When the Most High, thy Elohim, hath cut off the nation, whose land Yahweh thy El giveth thee, and thou succeedest them, and dwellest in their cities and in their houses, thou shalt separate 3 cities for 3 in the midst of thy land, while 3 cities for thee in the midst of thy land, which the Most High thy Elohim giveth thee to possess it. Thou shalt prepare thee a way, and divide the coast of thy land, which thy El, the Most High Yah, giveth thee to inherit, into 3 parts, that every slayer may flee thither.
And see, it says every slayer. So that's all the different ways that somebody killed. You considered a slayer. He slayed him, you know. Some are self-defense, some are righteous, some are illegal, but you're still considered a slayer. You caused the death of an individual. So we had to have cities set up. But go, let's read some more.
Verse 4. And this is the case of the slayer, which shall flee thither, that he may live.
That he may do what?
That he may live.
So somebody after him. See, Cain was a slayer. He slayed his brother, and he was worried about who was going to find him and kill him. But his own offspring ended up doing it. Some say, well, it had to be other people on the earth. That I say, well, they had to know what he was killed about, and they would have to be killing him under God's law. So we need to know how those other people, and when did they get God's law, and where is their heritage? If we ain't got it, it's just circumstance.
Right.
You just guessing at it. We need some lineage, because this Bible lists lineages from angels all the way up to the last individual walking into the kingdom. It lists where every man come from. It said Christ is 14 generations from David. David 14 generations from Abraham. Abraham 14 generations from Adam. There is the beginning of the lineage. We can't get outside lineage if the information ain't there.
Right.
But we have vain opinions. Go ahead, let's read some up.
Whoso killeth his neighbor ignorantly.
And what do killeth his neighbor what?
Ignorantly. Whom he hated not in time past.
See, he killed him ignorantly. He didn't hate him in time past. They didn't have no beef. It was an accident or something happened ignorantly. He didn't try to do it. It happened. Go ahead.
Verse 5. As when a man goeth into the wood with his neighbor to hew wood, and his hand fetcheth a stroke with the axe to cut down the tree, and the head slippeth from the helve, and lighteth upon his neighbor, that he die. He shall flee unto one of those cities and live.
So this is saying 2 brothers go out to chop up some wood. The axe handle fly off the head of the axe and hit him in the head and kill him. He had to flee to this city because his people saying, no, you took him out there, you killed our brother. How your axe handle just fly off? Now you got wood stacked up taller than the gateway arch, and your axe handle just fly out when you take my brother there. No, you done killed our brother. Right. We coming looking for you. Me and Junior, we ride. What else to say?
Verse 6. Lest the avenger of the blood pursue the slayer, while his heart is hot.
While his heart is what?
Is hot. And overtake him, because the way is long, and slay him, whereas he was not worthy of death, inasmuch as he hated him not in times past.
So it was nothing personal. You would have to find something. Yeah, see, they say he been mad ever since high school, since the gal took him, and he said, an axe coming your way. He said that in high school. See, and you make up something.
Right.
Go ahead, bro.
Verse 7. Wherefore I commanded thee, saying, thou shalt separate 3 cities for thee. And if the Most High thy Elohim enlarge the coast, thy coast, as he hath sworn unto thy fathers, and give thee all the land which he promised to give unto thy fathers.
Right.
If thou shalt keep all these commandments to do them, which I command thee this day, to love the Most High thy Elohim, and to walk ever in his ways, then shalt thou add 3 cities more for thee, beside these 3. That innocent blood.
That what kind of blood?
That innocent blood be not shed in thy land, which the Most High thy Elohim giveth thee for an inheritance. And so blood be upon thee.
See, the blood be upon you, and that's what you don't want, because the Most High say it's 6 things that he hate. Hold this, we coming right back to this, but give me real quick, Proverbs. I just want to hit that real quick. The shed innocent blood, the 3 things he hate. What was that at Proverbs, what I got wrote down? 6.
60, 30, and 39. That,
These 3 things he hate. Is it 16? I thought I wrote that one down. I missed that one, huh?
Yeah, these 16.
What is it, 16?
Yeah.
Let's read that real quick. Read that real quick. Proverbs, and we'll see what the Most High hate, y'all. When he say he hated, y'all, then we ought not do that. If you know your parents hate something, would you do it? Look, Isaac and Rebekah hated that Esau went and married a Canaanite woman and an Ishmaelite woman. They hated that. So who was Esau supposed to marry? He had to be somebody that they hated this, but so Esau had to marry somebody, because the order was to be fruitful and multiply. He had to marry somebody, but he married a Canaanite woman who we were told never to marry. Shalom, y'all.
about Shalom.
Where we at? Verse what?
Proverbs 6, I'm starting 12.
Okay.
A naughty person, a wicked man walketh with a forward mouth. He winketh with his eyes,
Right.
speaketh with his feet. He cheateth with his face. Forwardness is in his heart.
What's in his heart?
Forwardness is in his heart. He devises mischief.
What'd he do?
continuously.
Mischief continuously. And you know what a mischief maker is? When you ain't got nothing going, I'm not talking about retired or something, you know, you can't get out there, but when you just sitting around and ain't got an 8 to 5, mischief is coming. It's the only thing you're going to have on your mind. What can I get into till everybody else get off of work? Mischief making. A 9 to 5 will stop all the idle mindset of a mischief maker. Let's read some more.
He soweth discord.
What did he sow?
He soweth discord. Therefore shall his calamity come suddenly. Suddenly shall he be broken without remedy.
Right.
These 6 things does the Most High hate. Yeah, 7 are an abomination unto him. A proud look.
What kind of look?
A proud look.
Walking around like your dung don't stink.
Right.
Like it smell like potpourri.
Oh my God.
Go ahead, where we at?
A lying tongue.
What kind of tongue?
A lying tongue.
See, and that's a tongue that just lie with his fingers crossed always behind his back. And you can tell when they really lying because their voice get higher. I ain't lying. So what happened? I ain't lying. Pretty soon the only thing you hear him is dog. They ain't lying. What else to say, bro?
A proud look.
A proud look.
And hands that shed innocent blood.
Hands that do what?
Shed innocent blood.
The Most High say he hate that. If he hate it, he ain't gonna do it himself. And you can't let nobody tell you he does it himself and find it in here that he's shedding innocent blood.
Right.
And you stand there and let somebody tell you your God is a baby killer. What babies the God didn't kill? What babies? Isaac wasn't no baby. Isaac 37 years old. The Messiah was 33, wasn't he? What babies they talking about? Let's read some more.
a heart that devises wickedness, wicked imagination, feet that be swift to run to mischief, a false witness that speaketh lies, and he that soweth discord among brethren.
He that soweth discord among brothers.
Know a few of them.
Boy, can't stand for people to enjoy in harmony, throw discord in there.
Right. Busybody.
Busybody.
Yep.
See, no talebearer. No, thou should not bear false witness against thy neighbor. Start a false witness.
Right.
To break up friends. Let's let y'all get right back to that Deuteronomy 19. And then we're going to get into our case study of Saul, y'all. We should be running good time to finish it out.
Back in that Deuteronomy 19, we left off at verse 11. And it reads, "But if any man hate his neighbor and lie in wait for him."
And do what?
Lie in wait for him. And rise up against him and smite him mortally that he die, and fleeth into one of these cities. Then the elders of his city shall send and fetch him thence, and deliver him into the hand of the avenger of blood, that he may die.
See, he get extradited.
Yeah.
Back to what you did. If you done killed somebody and you try to hurry up and get to the safety zone, he like, no, send him back, y'all. And the world has copied these same laws, y'all. It's some nations have what they call
Non-extradition.
treaties.
Yeah.
Where if you get there, the United States can't get you back, like the boy that old Snowden that told all the secrets what they were doing. He fled to Russia. Well, Russia say America can't force y'all back here. So he's been over in Russia, but Russia got a whole different set of rules he got to live by now. He want to come back so bad. Or like that one boy that had his daughter, his adopted daughter, then he fled over to England so they couldn't bring him back over here. Whatever his name, one of them boys. Flee to, and where you can't be brought back to face your crime.
Right.
So in this law, though, it says he tried to escape there, go get him.
Go get him.
Get him down, tell him the feds want him.
Bring him back to
Bring
the
him back.
avenger of blood.
Bring him back to the Avenger of Blood. Boy, look
boy.
here. The Avenger of Blood, we need to see him. He got a date with death.
Right, no doubt.
Let's read some more.
Verse 13. Thine eyes shall not pity him, but thou shalt put away the guilt of innocent blood from Israel, that it may go well with thee.
So we see what shedding the innocent blood is, lay in wait for your neighbor.
Right.
And look, it's going to be our neighbor because we killing ourselves. We ain't doing no drive-bys out in Chesterfield, is we?
Nah.
You going anywhere way out there in them suburbs are doing a drive-by.
You ain't going out there.
We just circling around our block.
Right.
When they do the Chronicles, they stick us back.
Well, right. Get stopped before they headed out there good. And most nations kill their own. They just report ours more than anybody else.
Yeah.
But white folks kill white folks. All day Chinese kill Chinese folks. But we do it at another level when we killing our own. What else to say, bro?
Verse 14. Thou shalt not remove thy neighbor's landmark, which they of old time have set in thine inheritance, which thou shalt inherit in the land that the Most High Yah, thy Elohim, giveth thee to possess.
See, the Most High never removes a man's landmark. That's why Jerusalem is still called the land of Canaan. It won't switch over to the Lord our righteousness until the Messiah take planet Earth back. Right now, every land, that's why the prophecies in the end time, it says Gog and Magog, don't it? It don't say Russia or China do it. No, the script still give the original forefathers' name on it, even up until the end, until the land changed. Then, when the land changes and New Jerusalem comes, then shall the land be given a new name. But Canaan is still called the land of Canaan, Jerusalem, to this day. But the Most High say, I created planet Earth. I'll give it to who I want to, but you're not going to lose your land or your inheritance unless you do something to be thrown out your land and lose your inheritance. Like we did.
Right.
Let's read some up.
Verse 15. One witness shall not rise up against a man for any iniquity.
For any iniquity, not one witness. It's got to be two witnesses. And usually your second witness, when we come out of this, it's going to be your conscience against you. And how they do it on First 48, they get a written statement and a video statement.
Right.
So that's your conscience, and then you write it down that you're in sound mind and body. That's two witnesses against yourself.
And sign it.
And sign. But if you sit there like this, I won't talk to my lawyer. There's nothing they could do at that point because there's only one witness. We got word that you was the shooter, and we down here investigating you. But if you don't say nothing, they got one witness. Now, they may have enough evidence to take it to court, but at that point in time, they cannot convict you at that point because they only have one witness. Let's read some more.
Or for any sin.
In
any sin that he sinned.
Right.
At the mouth of two witnesses, or at the mouth of three witnesses, shall the matter be established.
Just like the woman they caught and brought to the Messiah, they say, we caught her in adultery. We caught her in the very act.
Which one of y'all was with her?
Right. That's what Messiah should have, but he probably wrote it in the dirt. But he said, he just wrote in the dirt. He said, who without sin cast the first stone? He didn't mean that you couldn't have been violated the Sabbath or you didn't honor your mother to cast first stone. He said about this event. Which one of y'all around this event, if y'all ain't involved with this, y'all cast the first stone. But all of them was involved because if you catch her in the act, the man should be right there and say both of them should be put to death. Where is the man?
They told him to go and go home.
Look, he had a rock in his hand. Look, told him to go and go home, man. Yeah, she ain't no good. She wicked. She lured you into her husband's house. She lured you in there. You wouldn't have went in there. Yeah, right. So you go away. But the Messiah said, go and sin no more. He didn't say she didn't sin. He said, sin no more. He said, I can't put you to death. I'm under arrest. There's no other witnesses right here, so I'm not going to put you to death. And that's what they were sent to see what he would do. Would he condemn her? He like, I know the law. I'm the walking law. I'm not going to condemn her. But he told her, don't sin no more, because next time you may not be so lucky. You see these maniacs, they may take the law into their own land and put you to death there. Let's read some more. Where we at?
Verse 16. If a false witness rise up against any man to testify against him that which is wrong, then both the men between whom the controversy is shall stand before the Most High, before the priest and the judges, which shall be in those days. And the judges shall make diligent inquisition. And behold, if the witness be a false witness, and have testified falsely against his brother.
Free-cased it.
Yep. Then shall ye do unto him as he had thought to have done unto his brother. So shalt thou put the evil away from among you. And those which remain shall hear and fear, and shall henceforth commit no more any such evil among you. And thine eye shall not pity, but life shall go for life, eye for eye, tooth for tooth, hand for hand, foot for foot.
And y'all, that goes by a bunch of various different ways. Slow on that, Turner. So y'all, we see here the law of when somebody does something, how we address killing. Yo, there have to be rules and regulations. We can't take the law into our own hands, y'all. We'll do unjust killing. We'll kill innocent people to get at that one individual. We have to have restrictions on that. Yo, because you'll be so angry. Like I say, he get hot, the avenger of blood on him. He ready to kill. He'll go anywhere. He'll go to the jail and kill. He want vengeance then. Y'all see a show right there, attacks in the courtroom or whatever? Somebody be locked up and they parents in there and they wait for the perfect time and leap across the counter and try to beat a 20-year life sentence in. They get hauled off and charged with contempt, and they didn't really land a blow good, just scraped across his head good. Somehow handcuffed, they know how to dodge them licks. Well, they done got a lot of practice from the police whooping them. So when you come in there, they already know what to do.
Yeah, they warmed up.
They warmed up. They like, you ain't getting none of that off. Yo, let's get some more. Let's get into our case study. And what we're gonna get into, y'all, while we got this last hour, is the life of Saul, the man pleaser. Y'all, a lot of Saul's problem came from pleasing men. And y'all, a lot of these examples that people take, talk about our God is a baby killer and he ordered the killing of babies, there was vengeance. He said, vengeance is mine, didn't he say? I make it and I lay it down, I kill it. I can do that, understand? But it ain't gonna be just the Lord decide, well, I don't like them no more, I'm a killer. Some people teach that men are born wicked to be put to death by the Lord. Ain't no such scripture in these Bibles say that. Every nation, he said, wickedness and iniquity have reached up to heaven. What is wickedness and iniquity? Law breaking. He never put nobody down because he just decided, well, I made him to put him down. He didn't make Satan to put him down. He saw everything and he said the morning and the evening, and it was what? He didn't never say it was evil in there, mixed in there anywhere. Let's get to this case study of Saul, y'all. What we're gonna do, we're gonna deal with an issue where the Most High told him to put a nation down, but it's gonna be always for a reason. That what he said. And y'all have to understand the Most High do things in generations. He said in the 4th generation, I'm gonna restore it. So within them generations, there's going to be children that may get killed because of what they forefathers, shalom, y'all. But they can't be judged for that. They can't be judged for it on Judgment Day unless they do the same thing. Yeah, our teeth are on. They've eaten the sour grapes and our teeth are on edge. But our soul is not on edge. If we do right, then we'll inherit the kingdom. Just had to die because of what my father did. Like Jonathan that we're going to get into, Saul's son, had to die about what his father Saul did. And Jonathan was a righteous son, so to speak. Loved David and the Most High. But he had to taste death, his flesh did. But his soul won't be judged for that. But the flesh has to go. Let's read some more. What we at? Let's get right into it. 1 Samuel 15, 1 through 5, and then we're going to skip to verse 22. Y'all read everything in between. We're going to get some understanding, y'all, and then we're going to see every case that the Most High ordered everything to be wiped out. It was either done already to us and it's payback. You can't say the Lord, vengeance is the Lord. What does vengeance mean? It means paying back for an event, don't it? But he has to do it because he gonna do it righteously. Right. He gonna give it time to repair itself. If it don't repair itself, then he coming with wrath. He just don't come with wrath. He give it time to repair itself. If you turn from your wickedness, if you don't do what your forefathers do, I will bless you. I will turn this whole situation around. But if you don't, he say, I'm coming. I'm coming for y'all. Let's read.
Reading in the book of 1 Samuel, chapter 15 and verse 1.
What it say?
Samuel
also... Hold on, I hear a few pages.
Okay, everybody there?
We good.
The book of 1 Samuel, chapter 15 and 1. Samuel also said unto Saul, Yahweh sent me to anoint thee to be king over his people, over Israel. Now therefore, hearken thou unto the voice of the words of the Most High. Thus saith the Most High of hosts. I remember that which Amalek did to Israel.
What Amalek did, he did something to who?
To Israel.
Uh-huh.
How he laid wait for him in the way when he came up from Egypt.
Now, we just read in 19 about a man laying in wait.
Right.
He said this what Amalek did to Israel when Israel was coming out. He was laying in wait. They was laying low. We can catch them off guard.
Right.
We can catch them. The Most High say, I remember this when they did that. Cause it was back when we first come out of Egypt. Most High said, I don't forget that.
Right.
Let's read some more.
Verse 3.
Uh-huh.
Now go and smite Amalek and utterly destroy all that they have, and spare them not.
Do what?
Spare them not, but slay both man and woman, infant and suckling, ox and sheep, camel and ass.
Oh, so he said kill everything breathing. But we just read because of what?
Yeah.
Because they did what? They was going to shed innocent blood. So this is not innocent blood being shed.
Right.
This is the punishment for plotting to shed innocent blood.
Right.
The trap you lay for yourself.
Right.
Let's read some more.
Verse 4. And Saul gathered the people together and numbered them in Telaim, 200,000 footmen and 10,000 men of Judah. And Saul came to a city of Amalek and laid wait in the valley. Now you want to jump to 22?
Yeah, we're going to jump. Y'all read all in 22 before. So you see Saul is saying, well, we got to put him down. He going to know what it's about.
Right.
It ain't like Amalek going to say, what y'all doing here? Why y'all laying and wait for me?
Right.
No, he knew. But the problem was Saul and Amalek had become good friends. Huh? Let's read some more. Y'all read in between. We're going to jump down to 22 for time's sake. Go ahead.
Verse 22. And Samuel said, hath the Most High as great delight in burnt offerings and sacrifices as in obeying the voice of the Most High? Behold, to obey is better than sacrifice, and to hearken than the fat of rams.
So right here, if y'all, when we stopped it off and we said read down to 22 where we picking it, in between, you'll see what Saul did. He disobeyed. Right. He left the best of the sheep. He left Amalek alive. He left the best of the sheep. And not only this, but he say, I'm going to take what God told me to kill, but I'm going to give him that for a sacrifice. You think the Lord wrote that? He told you I don't want that. He said, I told you to kill it. How you going to give me something I told you I don't want? You give me roadkill. Hard head. Bokeem Woodbine and Jason Lyric's hard head. Let's read some more.
Verse 23.
What it say?
For rebellion is as the sin of witchcraft, and stubbornness is as iniquity and idolatry. Because thou hast rejected the word of the Lord, he hath also rejected thee from being king. And Saul said unto Samuel, I have sinned.
He acknowledged it, but let's see what else.
I have sinned, for I have transgressed the commandment of the Lord and thy words, because I feared the people and obeyed their voice.
See, there's a difference between him and David. When Nathan came to David and said, who was the man? If you saw a man, David said, I killed that man. I put him there. If he said, you the man, he like, the Lord know that. Lord have mercy. I'm sorry. I'm through. But Saul right here had an excuse. The people scared me. They told me, man, why would you do that, man? Don't do all that, man. Save some of them good sheeps, and man, you see that? Give me some of that, man. A people pleaser. He was a people pleaser. Several occasions you're going to read what Saul say, I did it for the people. He wanted to make the people happy. You can't have friends be friends with man and the Most High on that level. You can't put a man up over God's command. No. He said, I told you what to do. Your partner who you just saved his life, his foreparents tried to kill all you. You wouldn't even exist today if it hadn't been for the Most High to save y'all. They was laying in wait to kill y'all. This is payback. You're interfering with payback? Let's read some more.
Yeah, verse 25. Now therefore, I pray thee, pardon my sin, and turn again with me, that I may worship the Lord. And Samuel said unto Saul, I will not return with thee.
What Samuel say?
I will not return.
No,
with
player,
thee.
you on your own on this one. Go ahead.
For thou hast rejected the word of the Most High, and the Most High hath rejected thee from being king over Israel.
So y'all go see that. Well, let's see what Samuel did right then, because that seals the deal right here.
And as Samuel turned about to go away, he laid hold upon the skirt of his mantle, and it rent.
And when you read something, you say that I'm through with this. Just like the veil in the temple was rent when the Messiah was put to death, that veil that the high priest used to go behind, that no other man could go behind, that was rent. We through with that. We through with men as high priests, physical men of the tribe of Levi as high priest. We through with that. You got a new high priest in time. If you let somebody keep talking high priest to you, we through with that. Rent your garment in front of them then. They'll get to moving because they think you crazy when they see buttons flying. We can hold there, y'all. Y'all read the rest of that, but we're going to get right back. We see he disobeyed there. Now we're going to go to 2 Samuel 21, and this is going to involve a situation with Saul again, that when he was told to do something, he disobeyed this way, but yet he going to take it upon his hands to shed some innocent blood. When he was supposed to, he didn't. And when he was not supposed to, he did.
Right.
The man pleased Saul, the first king of Israel. 2 Samuel 21, 1 through 9. Y'all, because all these things are tied to past events, like that Amalek, what he did is and not only that, but that other boy, that one Edomite boy, he had some long ties to where he was going after Rebekah was going to take her from Isaac. The Lord remembered that long ago. He said, I ain't forgot about that. Your offspring going to have to pay for that. But the offspring can't be judged for that. They just have to be put to death for it. Like Sodom and Gomorrah has not been judged yet. They were just put to death. That's why he said it's going to be more tolerable in the day of judgment for Sodom and Gomorrah than for a house if you go to and reject the word, you shake the dust from your feet. He says it's going to be more tolerable for the inhabitants of Sodom and Gomorrah on judgment day than for that house. So Sodom ain't been judged, they was just annihilated for wickedness. But judgment day still coming. They have to be told why that bolt of brimstone hit you in your rear ends and burned you to death. You got to be told that.
Right.
Let's read some more. Where we at?
2 Samuel chapter 21, verse 1.
What it say?
Then there was famine in the days of David. 3 years, year after year. And David inquired of the Most High. And the Most High answered, it is for Saul.
It is for who?
It is for Saul.
See, it's famine in the land. David asked him, why we starving, y'all? The bread is slow. Real slow. What else to say?
And for his blood house.
For his what house?
Bloody house.
For his bloody house,
Because he slew the Gibeonites.
Now he slew the Gibeonites. It say this is why y'all getting famine, because of what Saul did. The Most High, when he laid down the punishment, it still has go. His word can't come back void. Right. But he let David know this why y'all hungry. Let's read some more.
And the king called the Gibeonites and said unto them, now the Gibeonites were not the children of Israel.
Who were they?
Were not the children of Israel, but are the remnant of the Amorites and the children of the Israel, and the children of Israel had sworn unto them. And Saul sought to slay them in his zeal to the children of Israel and Judah.
See who he sought to slay them for again? For the children of Israel and Judah. Still a man pleased.
Yep.
But there was a covenant made that we're going to get into Joshua 9. You're going to see the covenant made with the Gibeonites. Saul broke that covenant to please men. Man, them ain't Israelites anyway. But we're going to see what their covenant was made with Joshua. You can't break a covenant. This is when we read in Matthew 16 when he say, what you bind on earth is bound in heaven, and what you bind in heaven is bound in heaven. So what this covenant was bound, so the Most High respects it in heaven.
Right.
What was done to the Gibeonites, and Saul, you broke this. See, Saul did a whole lot before the Most High finally put him down. Just like Samson did. Y'all read what wasn't supposed to happen. No razor upon Samson's head. He can't drink no wine. He can't do this. He can't do this. Finally, he got his hair cut. That was the last straw, though. The Most High is patient with us. Because if we look back and know we should have been dead, the transgressions we done pulled now that we understand law. You say, I should have been dead that year. I should have been dead that year. I should have died that very day. I should have been dead. But he didn't show, he had to show mercy on me because of the laws I'm reading now. It had to be mercy and grace or I should be dead. Now there's still judgment day that I still have to answer for because I can't have that on my jacket of doing it again. That means I didn't repent. I was just sorry I got caught. Like Saul, just sorry he got caught. Because he tried to blame it on the people.
Right.
It was them peoples. Them peoples. Where we at?
Verse 3.
What it say?
Wherefore David said unto the Gibeonites, what shall I do for you? And where shall I make the atonement? That ye may bless the inheritance of the Most High? And the Gibeonites said unto him, we will have no silver or gold of Saul.
We don't want his money.
Nor of his house. Neither for us shalt thou kill any man in Israel. And he said, what ye shall say, that will I do for you.
So David said, what y'all want? They said, we don't want no money from him. We don't want none of that from him. We want the vengeance of the Lord on him. Or he said, well, what I'm going to do? He said, this is what we want from him. This only. We don't want their money. And see, this is what they do when they slay us in the streets. They try to give us money. And they do give us gold. They give us a lot of gold. They say, we're going to give you $5 million for your son that we slayed in the streets. That we said had a gun and that we was beating on his head saying stop resisting, and he wasn't resisting at all because he had 10 pair of handcuffs on. And he was unconscious and we were still hollering stop resisting and beating the hell out of him. We'll give you $5 million for that.
They call it ducking the blows, stop resisting.
Boy, look here. Where we at? Go ahead.
5.
5. And they answered the king, the man that consumed us and that devised against us, that we should be destroyed from remaining in any of the coast of Israel. Let 7 men of his sons be delivered unto us, and we will hang them up unto the Most High in Gibeon, in Gibeon of Saul, whom the Lord did choose. And the king said, I will give them. David said, look, the covenant been broke. I ask you what you want, that's what you want, then that's what it's going to be. 7 men of the house of Saul, then that's what y'all want. If y'all say that's going to make it fair, then eye for eye it is. This is what David's saying.
Right.
Eye for an eye it is then, because, you know, they broke a covenant of the Lord. The king did. Let's read some up.
But the king spared Mephibosheth, the son of Jonathan, the son of Saul.
The grandson of Saul, he was spared. Go ahead, let's see what it say.
Because of the Most High's oath that was between them, between David and Jonathan, the son of Saul.
Right.
But the king took the 2 sons of Rizpah, the daughter of Aiah, whom she bare unto Saul, Armoni, and
Mephibosheth.
And the 5 sons of Michal, the daughter of Saul, whom she brought up from Adriel, and son of Barzillai, Barzillai, and Maholiah, Maholiathite. And he delivered them unto the hands of the Gibeonites. And they hanged them in the hill before the Most High. And they fell all 7 together, and were put to death in the days of the harvest, in the first days, in the beginning of the barley harvest.
Now we go back and we see verse 7. Mephibosheth was the son of Jonathan, the grandson of Saul. But we see here in verse 8, two of Saul's sons, one was named Armoni and Mephibosheth too. So either Saul had his own son, and then Jonathan named his son after one of his uncles. Or if it's the same Mephibosheth, he was spared. But we got a number of 7 in here that was put to death. And one of them name is the same name, verse 7 and 8, it's the same name. So it's got to be a grandson. Or the son of Saul. Well, it says Saul had a son named this, and his son Jonathan had a son named Mephibosheth. Y'all see the two sons, different sons in there? In the same marriage. So you got to be careful that, because some will say, well, does the Bible contradict itself? No, it ain't. You name your children after their grandfather. That's why you got junior, senior, and the thirds, don't you? So you can see these are two different sons with the same name. Saul had a son named, what is how I pronounce that? Mephibosheth, and so did Jonathan. His son was named that. But we see that the Most High say there was a covenant made between David and Jonathan about his son, so he can't be put in the death note. There's no way the Lord gonna go against an oath that men make. That's why he say, swear not at all, unless if you do, it must be binding. So we see David asked him about, why do you want to do this? He said, because they broke the oath of your God. Just like Simeon and Levi did with Shechem. Though they raped Dinah, they said, we will be circumcised and we'll join the house of Israel. Whatever you want us to do, we'll be servants, whatever. But Simeon and Levi killed them after they were circumcised. That's why they lost the birthright. You can't break the covenant of the Lord and then say you're doing righteousness by him. He don't want that. He want obedience, not sacrifice. Well, Lord, we had to put them down. They were going to be put down earlier. They were already on the hit list. But the devil let you circumcise them, bring them into the covenant of the Lord and kill them. That's like what the Americans did to the Indians. Gave them food and stuff and then put them smallpox blankets on them. And put that fire water on them. Boy, they was running naked and howling at the moon and full of smallpox. Let's pick this back up and we'll see. Give me Joshua 9th chapter so we can understand the covenant that was broke. And then we'll see the covenant that David and Jonathan has, and we'll close out, y'all. But we see so far that the Most High ain't killed no babies, have he? Hasn't shed any innocent blood that we read in the Bible. There's always a reason for it. And he started with his own. To the Jew first and then the Gentile. What you got back there, LC?
And Saul had a brother son named Mephibosheth, and then he had Jonathan had a son
named after him too, yeah. So he probably just named him after his uncle. People do that. I'm gonna name you after my brother. You have the same name as my brother. You know, it's like the 5 heartbeats. They made a covenant that whoever had the first son, you're gonna name it after that one. That's what Little Duck. Y'all remember? In the 5 heartbeats. Y'all remember? Y'all ain't watching no TV? When he said Duck, he didn't do nothing but smile. Duck, come in here. His little sister, Duck, come back over here. And they both smiled because they remembered the covenant that they had made. Even though they fell out and hadn't spoke to each other in 20 years, that covenant still stood. That his brother said, I'm going to still stick by my word. And I'm going to name him, I had the first child, I'm going to name him after my brother, Duck. And he said, my brother kept his covenant. He didn't keep his word with me, but he kept his covenant about our children. Let's read some more. Where we at? Joshua 9th chapter.
Starting at 1?
Yes, sir. And y'all, we'll see what covenant Saul broke. Now, he didn't kill Amalek, who laid wait for the Israelites. But he gonna do something to somebody that's in league with Israel or the Most High. Because people please. Man, we sick of them Gibeonites. That ain't Israel, no way. Let's get it, y'all. Joshua 9th chapter.
Joshua chapter 9, starting in verse 1.
Yes, sir.
Verse 1.
I tell you what, Y'all read verse 1 for time's sake. We're going to pick it right up. That where, start at verse 10. Y'all pick it up 1 through 10. And we're going to see that the Gibeonites was a group of out of some Africans that heard that Israel was coming. Joshua was coming to put the heat down. Joshua was coming. Because of past transgressions when we was moving through the wilderness, Joshua was coming. So this group said, man, we got to act like we ain't part of them. And man, we need to try to get in with them, man, because they coming to kill. We didn't hear it. And everything you keep hearing, we heard what your God did in Egypt. So why would we want to go back to Egypt, y'all, under any circumstances? Why would we want to go back and everything up through Genesis to Revelation keep talking about what he did in Egypt?
Right.
But we see them plagues in Egypt, and you know they keep saying biblical right now, ain't they, with these flood waters?
Biblical
Y'all see New York? Did y'all see that water coming down that subway?
Yeah.
Y'all, that was that much rain, and how long they say 2 hours straight? Mm-hmm. Now y'all imagine 40 days and 40 nights of that. That was 2 hours. In 2 hours, the city ain't the same no more.
Well, you know them rats was running crazy.
Boy, look here. Let's get it, y'all.
Joshua chapter 9, verse 10.
What it say?
And all that he did to the 2 kings of the Amorites that were beyond Jordan, to Sihon, king of Heshbon, and to Og, king of Bashan, which was at Ashtaroth. Wherefore our elders and all the inhabitants of our country spake to us, saying, take victuals with you for the journey, and go to meet them, and say unto them, we are your servants, therefore now make ye a league with us.
So this group, listen to the elders, they say, look, just take victuals with you and just tell them you coming to meet them. You coming to assist them on their way back to Jerusalem. You just tell them you coming to help them. You don't want no war. You don't want no troubles. Go ahead. What else it say?
Verse 12. This is our bread we took hot for our provisions out of our houses on the day we came forth to go on to you. But now, behold, it is dry and it is moldy.
So they said the bread was good when we left home, but it's been a long journey now and it got moldy, but we had the bread for y'all. Because remember, he killed Amalek. Amalek met us with no bread and water through our you got to at least meet somebody with bread and water. No matter what it is, your enemy feed them, you at least a point they'll get to their destruction. But we're ordered to, if you see somebody starving, to give them something to eat. If they ain't got no pistol on you or nothing, right. If you able to not see a life die. That's why I say if you see a thief, don't despise it if he steal it to satisfy his soul. When he is hungry, you don't take care of him because the next verse say he got to repay sevenfold. What you got, Thomas?
You notice how greatly the Lord is showing his power. Right. With the catastrophes, the earthquakes, the floods, the fires, everything.
Right.
And they keep putting names of men and women on it instead of God and Christ.
Well, we're going to see greater things than these, bro.
But he's showing, hey, look, you know what? I'm not even nowhere in y'all land. Let me just totally wash this out and take all your belongings.
Well, he will wash it out. And that's what he does. If you won't get rid of it, he'll get rid of it for you.
But see, I'm gonna take everything and see if you're gonna call my name.
And see if you're gonna call on him. Some call on him in distress and lash out at him. You didn't have to take away my idols. What? Let's read some more. Where we at?
13.
What it say?
Joshua chapter 9, verse 13. And these bottles of wine, which we filled, were new, and behold, they be rent. And these our garments and our shoes are become old by reason of the very long journey. And the men took up their victuals and asked not counsel at the mouth of the Lord. And Joshua made peace with them and made a league with them to let them live. To let them do what? Live. And the princes of the congregation swear unto them.
So Joshua allowed them to live because they did something that their forefathers didn't do while the hit was on anyway. So he said, we're not like our father. That's why we read Ezekiel 18. But if a son turned from his father's wicked way, so Joshua looked at the law from that perspective and say they turning from their father, I'll spare them. Right. But they was lying. But they were lying because they were scared. Let's read some more. We'll see why. Go ahead.
Verse 16. And it came to pass at the end of 3 days after they had made a league with them, that they heard that they were their neighbors, and that they dwelt among them. And the children of Israel journeyed and came unto their cities on the 3rd day. Now their cities were Gibeon, and how you pronounce that? Shephira?
That is
Kephira, and Beeroth, and
Kirjathjearim.
And the children of Israel smote them not, because the princes of the congregation had sworn unto them by the Lord God of Israel. And all the congregation murmured against the princes.
See, and they mad, man. How you gonna bring somebody into our tribe? How we gonna make a covenant with them damn Gibeonites? But he's trying to show them who's your neighbor. This was a good Samaritan there. He's like, look, they feeding us. They ain't doing this. They ain't do that. The rest of them, they come out and attack us. They feeding us. This is what Joshua was saying. But they mad because Joshua, a young scrapping Israelite, he done took over for Moses, and he a straight slayer, righteously. Joshua had no fear, none. Let's read some more.
Verse 19. And all the princes said unto all the congregation, we have sworn unto them by the Lord God of Israel. Now therefore we may not touch them.
Now therefore we may not do what?
Touch them.
Because they made a sworn oath, didn't they? Let's read some more.
This we will do to them. We will even let them live, lest wrath be upon us, because of the oath which we swear unto them. And the princes said unto them, let them live, but let them be hewers of wood and drawers of water unto all the congregation. And the princes had promised them.
As the prince has promised them, so it said basically they're going to be servants. They're going to chop firewood and they're going to draw water for us. They're going to have water for the temple. They're going to do, that's their position in the kingdom. Is that any different that we're reading about in Zechariah 14? Is that any different that Abraham talked about servants like this that's part of Israel out of another nation? They are part of us, but their position is this, and they like, that's better than death.
Right.
This is what the Gibeonites saying. And we made a deal with them. Well, look, y'all can't be part of Israel. Your name ain't going to be on the gate. But this is what y'all going to do. Y'all hewers of wood. But y'all going to enjoy all the pleasures that comes with being in the kingdom of Israel. All the pleasures come with it. Y'all not us, but y'all got a duty, and this y'all duty for life. Your next generation gonna be this, your next generation gonna be this, and they agreed to that, and Saul killed them, but didn't kill Amalek. Is Saul crazy? Was Saul crazy?
Yeah.
Let's read some more. What you got back there, Tom?
You said,
Go ahead, read some more then. Yes, sir.
I'll kill them, but then kill the Amalek.
Right.
Verse 22. Verse 22. And Joshua called for them.
Okay.
He spake unto them, saying, wherefore have ye beguiled us, saying, we are very far from you, when ye dwell among us.
See, because they found out that they was part of the group that they was gonna kill. So he like, man, why y'all lie and say y'all came from across the other side of the world? Y'all been traveling this far, y'all done wore the heels down on y'all shoes. So far you gotta lay down and put them on, they so run over. Why y'all tell us that? Where we at? Go ahead.
Verse 23. Now therefore ye are cursed, and there shall none of you be freed from being bondmen, and hewers of wood, and drawers of water for the house of my God. And they answered Joshua and said, because it was certainly told thy servant how that the Lord thy God commanded his servant Moses to give you all the land, and to destroy all the inhabitants of the land from before you. Therefore we were sore afraid of our lives because of you. and have done this thing.
See, you see how the fame of us go out there, like we heard what you did in Egypt, then we heard what he told Moses, you're going to destroy everybody in our land. So we had to go for broke. We just went for broke to save our life. Go ahead, what else it say?
Verse 25. And now, behold, we are in thine hand, as it seemeth good and right unto thee to do unto us, do. And so did he unto them, and delivered them out of the hand of the children of Israel, that they slew them not. And Joshua made them that day hewers of wood and drawers of water for the congregation.
For the who?
Congregation. And for the altar of the Lord, even unto this day, in the place which he should choose.
See, so they only draw woods for the congregation during the assembly. They wasn't just slaves all the time or something, but y'all got a duty. Y'all responsible to make sure that the kingdom, that the tabernacle, when we come serve, everything is up to par. We shouldn't run out of firewood and we shouldn't run out of water. That's y'all duty from here, and y'all gonna live and y'all enjoy the pleasures that Israel has to offer. We ain't gonna put you to death because we made a promise to you. See, that's not going back on your promise. See, that's why the Most High was saying, let your yea be yea and your nay be yea, but don't swear at all unless you can keep this promise, because the Most High whole promise is for generations.
Right.
And see, Saul, on down the line, he attacked the Gibeonites when we got a king. Attacked them because the people, again, man, you heard they ain't really no Israelites, man, just hanging around. Lied, said they had some bread, brought that old moldy ass bread, and they still part of Israel. And Saul just, okay. People please. So y'all wanted to run that so y'all see what the deal was. Now, Saul was supposed to be put to death, his whole household for that, but we're going to see a covenant he made with Jonathan. So hit me that 1 Samuel 20 and 42, and then 2 Samuel 19, and we're going to see what happened with that situation. Emo, get y'all straight. No, it's good she kind of come in, because if she did this an hour ago, everybody would be asleep.
What you say, 1 Samuel?
Yeah, 1 Samuel
20 and 42. All of this is about David and Jonathan. And when y'all get into this 1 Samuel 20, y'all read it all. We just going to pick it up at 42. This is the love that David and Jonathan had between each other. You talking about boys thicker than thieves, so to speak. Because Jonathan's daddy hated his best friend. Can y'all imagine that? My daddy king, and he hates you because you've been anointed to take over his spot for his disobedience. So he angry with you. Throwing javelins at you. What you got to say?
Isn't that about the same thing as George Bush, the Bush family, the boy? What was that? Anyway,
it'll come back.
The Middle East guy.
Yeah.
Saddam.
Oh, Saddam, yeah.
Saddam and George Bush
Daddy.
Jr.
Yeah.
swore that he was going to get Saddam back after
what he did for George Sr.
Was.
Yeah. And he got Saddam's pistol, that gold 45, just like Senior George Bush, his daddy, Prescott Bush, got Geronimo's skull or something, or his hatchet. He got his prized possession, so to speak. Prescott Bush got Geronimo's, either got his guard, part of his scalp, or his pistol, or bow and arrow. But y'all look up Prescott Bush and see what he got of Geronimo's. What you got right there, bro?
Yeah, Ron Lemons in the chat had a question.
Shalom, Ron.
It's kind of subject and whatnot, but I think I throw it in there anyway. I won't forget about brother. But he asked, could it be that Noah cursed Cain after Ham uncovered his nakedness, slept with his own mother?
Well, that's what the language states. He cursed Canaan. He said, "Curse be Canaan." So y'all, this is in pieces. This just was smushed together. But when Ham uncovered Noah naked, the law say he slept with his father's wife. Right. There was an offspring called Canaan.
Right.
That was born from that, and he said, "Curse be your offspring." He gonna be a curse from generation. His land that you were supposed to give him gonna belong to everybody else, but it happened to be the most supernatural land on earth. It's Jerusalem. is the navel of planet Earth that Canaan had, but he was the most wicked doing what he did. He's the offspring of his daddy, Ham, and they took their wickedness into Jerusalem. Just like now, who's in Jerusalem now? The Edomites in Jerusalem now with the worst wickedness on planet Earth. Do you know that the only information that they are accepting is coming out of Israel, and they saying we've been overrun with this virus after taking the vaccine twice? Now we got another dose, and we're saying that we're gonna need a third and fourth dose. But yet they had just had the biggest gay parade on the planet up in Jerusalem. There's more wickedness going on in the Holy Land right now than anywhere on planet Earth. It's being trodden underfoot by the Gentiles, just like the record say, trodden underfoot. You got gay parade, the biggest one on planet Earth is in the Holy Land. Yeah. Yeah. Where we at? 21, 1 through 9?
No.
Where you at?
20, 42.
Oh, okay, I'm way off, man. Go ahead.
First Samuel chapter 20, verse 42. And Jonathan said to David, "Go in peace, for as much as we have sworn, both of us, in the name of the Lord, saying the Lord be between me and thee, and between my seed and thy seed forever."
Between who?
My seed and thy seed forever. And he arose and departed, and Jonathan went into the city.
So what we wanted you to see, when y'all read verse 1 all the way down, y'all gonna see the covenant between Jonathan and David. And what they did is they're like, well, my father hate you, and I know you ain't gonna attack my father because he the king, and me and you is best friends. He said, look, man, the covenant we got to be for our children, because this thing gonna go bad when we dead. They ain't gonna be remembered, so let's make a covenant with each other about our offspring. So now, what Saul did, everybody's on the hit list, even Jonathan. You finna head out him up? So let's get 2 Samuel 9. We're gonna start by 1, that's 9. Okay. Let me know when you're ready to head out the door. Okay. 2 Samuel 9 and 1, y'all, we're gonna get ready to close on out. Who laughed? Seen Nat Turner showed up. Right. And now this is David after he's taken over the king's house, and Saul has been put to death. Jonathan was put to death because the Gibeonites say we got it where they took the 7 sons of them, but Saul never was killed in that war. And even the man that said he finished Saul off, he said Saul was dying, he was wounded bad, he said, so I finished him off, and he brought David back to crown. David said, out of your own mouth, you say you put the king to death. He said, well, he was already dying, I just helped him on out. I just pulled a Dr. Kevorkian, he was almost on his way out.
Yeah.
He said, so you saying you put your hands on the Lord's anointed. David said, I didn't even do that, and he was throwing javelins at me. I had 3 times I could have killed him. He said, the Lord put him in my hand 3 times. One time he cut Saul's robe off and showed it to him. He said, I could have killed you, but I didn't. Another time Saul woke up, he said, what, my sword? He said, here it is. I could have killed you then too, but I didn't. He said, you killed him, and you're going to bring me back to crown. He going to bring it back thinking he's finna get a reward. Right. He said, man, you don't put your hands on the Lord's anointed. That's for the Lord to do. He said, you just sign your own death warrant. Put him to death.
Right.
What you got back there, LC?
And Saul falling on the sword.
Well, that's what it was called, suicide, falling on your sword. Today we'll call it putting a pistol right here, or shotgun in the mouth is falling on the sword.
What was the other son named Jonathan that died with him?
He had another son named, we just read about him, Mizpah. That was one of them. Yeah.
Mephibosheth.
Yeah. Huh?
Son.
Well, he 2 of them. He had a son, and his daddy had 1. So it was 2 of them because 7 of them was put to death.
Right.
And what we finna read now, it couldn't have been the same thing, because we're going to see what David is saying here in 2 Samuel 9 and 1. Let's get it real quick, y'all. What it say?
2 Samuel chapter 9, verse 1. And David said, is there yet any that is left of the house of Saul?
Is of the house of who?
Saul.
He asking, is any of them left alive? Go ahead.
that I may show him kindness for Jonathan's sake.
For whose sake?
Jonathan's sake.
For the covenant we just read between them two. You know what I'm saying? The covenant that the Gibeonites made, that Joshua talking about. The covenant that Jacob made with Shechem them, and Simeon and Levi killed him anyway. So David asking, is it any for Jonathan's sake? For none of the other brothers, but for whose sake? Jonathan. Let's read some more.
And there was of the house of Saul a servant whose name was, is that Ziba?
Yeah.
Ziba?
Yep.
And when they had called him unto David, the king said unto him, Art thou Ziba? And he said, Thy servant is he. And the king said, Is there not yet any of the house of Saul, that I may show him kindness of God unto him? And Ziba said unto the king, Jonathan hath yet a son, which is lame on his feet. And the king said unto him, Where is he? And Ziba said unto the king, Behold, he is in the house of Machir.
CH is cut. Yeah, just for future reference.
Machir.
Yeah, that's good, bro. Hey, I like it. Look, you got to have good comprehension and have good understanding. Go ahead.
The son of, how you pronounce that?
Amiel.
And
Lodabar.
Lodabar.
Now see, y'all, the reason we're saying this is because remember when we was in church and when you read Zephaniah and Hachariah and Zebediah and these names, you just like, please, just get to the New Testament where it says James and John and Robert and Leroy and Rufus. These names are just too hard. These sound like future names of Israel in the 2021.
Well, see, they break them down in my Bible. That's what I mean. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, these broke down too. Go ahead. It's just the way you do it. You gotta know how to put them consonants and vowels together. Go ahead.
Then King David fetched him out of the house of Machir, the son of Amiel from Lodabar. Now when Mephibosheth...
Now he's still alive. Remember the other one was put to death, 7 of them, but he's still alive. So it had to be 2 of them. The son and the grandson. The son was just, Jonathan's son was just named after his father's brother, which was his uncle, because it was a son of Saul, right? Let's read some more.
Verse 6. Now when Mephibosheth, the son of Jonathan, the son of Saul, was come unto David, he fell on his face and did reverence. And David said, Mephibosheth, and he answered, Behold thy servant. And David said unto him, Fear not, for I will surely show thee kindness for Jonathan thy father's sake, and will restore thee all the land of Saul thy father. And thou shalt eat bread at my table continually.
David said, you ain't gonna never be hungry again as long as I'm king. And I'm gonna give you your father's land back that restored because of the promise I made to your daddy about you. And never met you, never saw you, never heard of you to the day. And it say he was crippled because his nursemaid was chasing after him. He was running and he fell and broke his ankles. He twisted them up so bad that he was a cripple his whole life. This boy, and you read some other writings and everything, and they'll tell you that he fell. His nursemaid was telling, come here, boy, come here. And he fell off or something and broke his ankles real bad and never was able to wear a regular shoe no more. Had to wear them white shoes, you know, with them shoes with the balls on them. Yeah, like the boot, yeah. Where we at? Go ahead.
Verse 8.
Yeah.
And he bowed himself and said, What is thy servant that thou shouldest look upon such a dead dog as I am?
See, and he said, I'm a dead dog because all my family been killed, so I'm on borrowed time. Can you be waiting to die because you heard about the curse on your father? He like, I'm a dead dog. What am I going to sit at your table and I'm marked for death? Is this a joke? What else is saying?
Then the king called to Ziba, Saul's servant, and said unto him, I have given unto thy master's son all that pertains to Saul and to all his house. Thou therefore and thy sons and thy servants shall till the land for him, and thou shalt bring in the fruits, that thy master's son may have food to eat. But Mephibosheth, thy master's son, shall eat bread always at my table. Now Ziba had 15 sons and 20 servants. Then said Ziba unto the king, according to all that my lord the king had commanded his servant, so shall thy servant do. As for Mephibosheth, said the king, he shall eat at my table as one of the king's sons. And Mephibosheth had a young son, whose name was Micah. And all that dwelt in the house of Ziba were servants unto Mephibosheth. So Mephibosheth dwelt in Jerusalem, for he did eat continually at the king's table, and was lame on both his feet.
So he ate at the king's table. Like I say, he was lame at both his feet. When you read some other writing, you'll see what happened to him. He was running and fell. You know, they actually say kind of fell off a porch, a wall, and broke both his ankles. You know, it must have been pretty bad. Bone must have came through, you know, one of them ones where you had to just fix it back up. But he ain't gonna never walk straight again, you know. So just wanted to get into that to see how covenants, when you make a covenant with somebody, you bind them on earth. So just hit that real quick, Matthew 16, 12 through 19, we're gonna close out. And also y'all read Joshua 6, all of Joshua 6, and that's about the walls of Jericho coming down. But Joshua made a covenant with Rahab the harlot. He said, because you protected me when we were searching out the land, you and your whole household, not only Rahab, but her whole house was delivered.
Right.
And y'all, so far what we seen when the Most High say put everybody down, even the children, is because they were gonna do it to us first. Now those babies, if they're underage and they were slaves, they won't face what their fathers did. There's going to be a judgment day for them babies, and they'll just be servants in the kingdom if they are of another nation. But they won't be judged for what their father do, but their flesh had to die, just like our flesh had to die. Yeah, we was born into slavery. We didn't do what they did in Jerusalem, but we got all the punishments, didn't we? Yeah. The whips and the chains. They didn't taste none of that. Most of them was dead before we got on them ships. So when you talk about what the Most High do, you try to label them a baby killer. He ain't never killed no babies or shed innocent blood of a baby. It's the punishment for what your forefathers do. It's how he get back and he can take you, but you ain't gonna feel the wrath unless you know your children are being punished for you do. Like we know today. We do something today and you see your child suffering, you like this because of me. Just like David did when he did what he did with Bathsheba. And that child was sick. And on the 7th day, the Lord took the child's life because on the 8th day, the child would have had to be circumcised. But you can't circumcise a child born in adultery from a king. So the child was put to death. And David fasted and he prayed. And he said, maybe the Lord will have mercy. And he said, I ain't gonna eat, I ain't gonna drink. Maybe the Lord will have mercy. And as soon as David saw him whispering, he like, the child dead, ain't it? They like, yeah, he did. And David got up, y'all fix me something to eat. And they like, you want something to eat? He said, look, I fasted and prayed while the child was still alive. I had a chance. But I'm gonna go to him, he ain't coming to me. Mm-hmm. So where's that child that David gonna go to him? Mm-hmm. See, so y'all, we have to understand what's taking place here. A child will be put to death because our flesh is born to die. The most dangerous time for a baby is at birth. A woman in travail, the baby umbilical cord could get tied around his neck. The baby is in trouble when it's being born. And not only that, but when you get a birthday, you also, guess what, got a what day? Yeah. Death day. This is the only thing he's talking about. If a baby has to die, that's already marked. It's going to die anyway. Sooner or later, it's going to die. Whether it's 100 years old, that child is still going to die. The fact is, when it get above age to where it's accountable for his own sins, that's a judgment day for that individual. But for that child that the Most High say wipe out the whole land, they don't have a judgment day. They just had to be punished for what their fathers did. But their soul goes on to everlasting life. That's what he tells you that you have to understand and do. But when they was laying in wait for us, everything we read, they were laying in wait for us to slaughter all our women and children. Egypt did it. King Herod did it. And when y'all get into the book of Josephus, y'all read about the punishment for King Herod for slaughtering the children. It said the Most High put that sobach on him and that itch of the flesh. They say his guts was stinking so bad, you know, they say you could smell King Herod 3 furlongs away.
What was that you said?
In the book of Josephus. Read it, just look it up, King Herod's punishment. I'm talking about, y'all talking about a stanky individual. You could be down on St. Louis Avenue and Kings Highway, and you can get downwind. You be like, you know how you smell a pig truck on the highway? You like, there's a truck somewhere with some pigs on it. You can smell, you like, man, that's King Herod. I mean, his bowels rotted out. Rotting of the guts. Why even? I'm talking about he smelled like chitlins times 1,000. Yes, sir. You read about it. But y'all, let's hit that last Matthew 16. We're going to close on out. And y'all, what we're talking about is what we bind on heaven and bound on earth. You can swear certain things, and you're held accountable for life with those things when you bind something in heaven. It's like Deuteronomy, Numbers 30th chapter, what I'm talking about, the head of the household. If a man hear his wife say a prayer unto the Lord, he has the right then to say, Lord, it's a good prayer. But it say if he don't hear it, then that prayer sticks with that woman. She can't even get married to another man to get out of it. If she tie her soul to it. That comes with the new marriage. You can't say, Lord, I'll be the best wife ever if you let me have this man. Well, that man died. You still got to be the best wife ever. To another man, you can't let it go and be mean to this one. You made a vow to the Lord, I'll be the best wife ever.
Right.
It don't mean just one time. You didn't say one time. If he died and you get married again, you still got to be the best wife ever. You can't then turn into Aunt Esther. And tell him, Rock Bob, put that wine bottle down before I screw your arm off and beat you to death with it. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Let's hit that real quick, y'all, and get out of here. Matthew 16, 12 through 19.
Matthew chapter 16, verse 12. What is it? Matthew 16, verse 12. Come on, nurse. Matthew chapter 16, verse 12.
Right.
Then understood they how that he bade them not beware of the leaven of bread, but of the doctrine of the Pharisees and of the Sadducees. When Yahushua came into the coast of Caesarea Philippi, he asked his disciples, saying, Whom do men say that I, the Son of Man, am? And they said, Some say that thou art John the Baptist.
Crazy, because John the Baptist is alive at the same time, or was at the same time. He was 6 months older than the Messiah. Go ahead, hold on, Imam, to get to the last verse. Go ahead.
Some Elijah.
Some who?
Elijah. And others Jeremiah. Or one of the prophets. He said unto them, But whom say ye that I am? And Simon Peter answered and said, Thou art the Christ, the Son of the living God.
And see, everybody that's saying Joseph is the father, wonder why they never read this scripture, what Peter said when the Messiah asked, Who do you say I am? He didn't say, Thou art the son of Joseph.
Right.
Carpenter Jr. Who he say he was?
The Christ, the Son of the living God.
The Son of who?
The living God.
Why they won't go to these?
But then you know it's funny because they already saying on there, some say that thou art John the Baptist.
That's right.
And then ain't nobody
ain't nobody say he the Son of God.
Man, shoot.
Keep reading it,
Verse 17. And Jesus answered and said unto him, Blessed art thou, Simon Bar-Jonah, for flesh and blood hath not revealed it unto thee, but my Father which is in heaven. And I say also unto thee that thou art Peter, and upon this rock will I build my church, and the gates of hell shall not prevail against thee. And I will give unto thee the keys of the kingdom of heaven. And whatsoever thou shalt bind on earth shall be bound in heaven. And whatsoever thou shalt loose on earth shall be loosed in heaven.
So y'all see the commitments that you bound in heaven. This don't mean that the Pope can forgive sins, say 10 Hail Marys and go. This ain't got nothing to do with that. It's saying vows that you make that go up to heaven. When you make soul ties, when you make a vow, that's why it's saying don't make a vow because you put your soul on the line. It's one thing you put your flesh on the line, but when you put your soul on the line with the Most High, and that's why the courts always try to get you to swear. Put your hand on this in court. You swear to solemnly tell the truth. You got to say, no, I'm not going to swear. Because that book right there, you tell me not to swear. I affirm, which means I'm going to answer the questions best I can. Because if you say, yes, I swear, then perjury lays on the line. Now come on and tell us now, you know your brother is a pedophile. Your brother is R. Kelly, isn't he? And you in court, I'm sorry, man. Well, you done had another 12 play this time. Yeah, he's here. Look, and that's what happens when you swear or you face perjury. It's an automatic 5 years in the penitentiary. That's why the Messiah say be careful about what you do. But if you make an oath with somebody, that's why you have to be careful to be a godparent. When you say I'm going to be that child's godfather, that means you're saying whatever you had planned for this child, I'm going to make sure it happens for him, just like you said if you die. If you're going to send him to Princeton, that means, well, look, I'm going to have to get 2 more jobs. Amazon ain't going to send him to Princeton. And you wanted them to have a nice sports car? Well, I'm in this 67 Chevy, 3 hubcaps missing and leaking oil. It may be rough. You can't be just a godfather because somebody asked you. You are actually taking on that responsibility for life. It's just like when the Messiah was on the cross, his mother was crying. He looked at the disciple that loved him. He said, behold, mother, your son. You ain't got to cry like this. This who got you till I come back. And he said, behold, John, thy mother. Take care of my mama, man. Take care of my mama for life. And it happened. But they was like that. So when them vows went down, there's a vow for life. He took care of Christ's mother till she passed away. Let's close out, y'all. We got any questions or concerns before we do? We got feast days coming up, y'all. We got to blow on the trumpets, y'all. And that means if y'all don't tell nobody about the word of God this day, do so. Blow the trumpet, y'all. Warn them of the plagues we facing now. We're in the days of Sodom and Gomorrah, in the days of Noah. Blow the trumpet. We got that coming up Wednesday night, right? Is it the 8th? Yep. At sundown to the 9th sundown. And then we got following that the 17th at sundown. We got the Day of Atonement, y'all. That's a 24-hour fast. No water, food. You cut off everything and live off the Most High. Now, if you got some ailments, make sure you do this appropriately. You cannot be hurt by keeping a feast day. If you ain't eating nothing, you know you got diabetes, you need to eat an orange, you need to know what you can substitute to get you through that. The Most High understands that. But you cannot starve yourself and go into a what do you call them, diabetic coma. And your people up there, Lord have mercy in that coat, say something about they some Hebrew nights. I don't know, girl. Something about something. They talking about they were going to have food and they ain't eat nothing. Didn't eat nothing. The girl starved to death. So y'all, be wise on this. Feast days are not grievous. Let's close out, y'all. We good?
And they got plenty of food, but nobody can eat.
Nobody can eat.
36.
Yeah.
Any questions too?
Once again, y'all, want to thank the Worldwide family for y'all continued support of the radio station and also this ministry, y'all. We promise to keep our hand on the plow and continue the lessons. Any questions or concerns y'all have, y'all know y'all can always reach out, y'all. We seek our neighbors well.
All right, family, we're going to get this closed in prayer. And it's with the Most High's permission. And in the name of his only begotten and beloved Son, our Lord and Savior, and our Redeemer, Yahushua HaMashiach. But we know him as Jesus the Christ, y'all. Long live the King. Long live! Reading in the book of Psalms, in the 36th chapter, it reads, "The transgression of the wicked saith within my heart, that there is no fear of Yah before his eyes. For he flattereth himself in his own eyes, until his iniquity be found to be hateful. The words of his mouth are iniquity and deceit. He hath left off to be wise and to do good. He deviseth mischief upon his bed. He setteth himself in a way that is not good. He abhorreth not evil. Thy mercy, O Yahweh, is in the heavens, and the faithfulness reacheth unto the clouds. Thy righteousness is like the great mountains. Thy judgments are a great deep. O Yahweh, thou preservest man and beast. How excellent is thy loving kindness, O Yah. Therefore, the children of men put their trust under the shadow of thy wings. They shall be abundantly satisfied with the fatness of thy house, and thou shalt make them drink of the river of thy pleasures. For with thee is the fountain of life. In thy light shall we see light. O continue thy loving kindness unto them that know thee, and thy righteousness to the upright in heart. Let not the foot of pride come against me, and let not the hand of the wicked remove me. There are the workers of iniquity fall. They are cast down, and shall not be able to rise.
Hallelujah! Y'all got a shekel or two, y'all. We greatly appreciate it.
Yes,
y'all, if y'all have not put y'all names on the list for tabernacles, y'all, the camping slots are filling up. And also, I'll get you just a second. Also, y'all, if they ain't heard, I need 3 more good men. Y'all, we need load up and set up men. If you can't be at camping, we're going to take care of you financially to just come out, unload that truck, load it back up, and unload it when we get back. Or if you decide to camp, we'll accommodate you them days, but we need a solid 6 men to unload and load them trucks along with the other assistants. But we gotta have that that's dedicated to that.
You got me down.
Okay, yes sir, I got you. All right. Go ahead, let me help you out. What's up?
Make sure I get some able to my truck.
Okay. Hey y'all, also before we get out, 3 strong men. Our Jerry gotta take those boxes.